They'll be watching you.
Tired of companies like Google and Facebook watching everything you do online? There's actually a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us, on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
All about sunshine on this Thursday afternoon. Nice humidity levels. We should top out with a high of 83 degrees. Tonight, clear skies, upper 70s for evening plans, 59 for the low. Friday, sunny and 85. No concerns for the Friday night football games. Saturday, partly sunny, couple of showers, but very limited, 82. Real good chance of rain by Sunday afternoon. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Mark Cox.
It's a hard knock life.
Brian Kilmeade.
Everyone's doing something that should have been happening a long time ago.
Annie Frey.
You know what happens immediately after midterm election day in November? Presidential election season begins.
Mark Reardon.
The media portrays this as something that's completely acceptable.
Dana Lesh.
I can't, man. It's one of them days.
Keeping you connected with news, entertainment, and information with perspective. It's all here. 97.1 FM Talk.
Hi, Mark Goldstein here for Edwards Carpet. Times are tough, we're making less, and you're still paying more. So if you need new flooring, now is the time. Take advantage of our Labor Day sale. Carpet starting at $349, completely installed with pad, including take-up of old carpet and furniture moving. For this sale, everything's on sale. You can take advantage of our 12-month 0% financing, and if that's not enough, you'll pay no tax. Don't miss out, because these days, if you wait, you'll simply pay more. See you soon at Edwards Carpet.
Come on down to Edwards Carpet Store.
Mark Cox here with a question for homeowners. Would you sell your current home if you found your dream home? Well, of course you would. That's why you need to call Gloria Liu with your home sold guaranteed realty. Gloria has a program that kind of eliminates the worry of selling your current home and then finding that next home with inventory being as low as it is. Gloria is an expert at finding listed and unlisted homes that match your specific criteria. Just let her know exactly what you're looking for. She'll find that dream home in the neighborhood of your choice. And once Gloria finds a homeowner who may consider a sale, not yet on the market, Gloria's going to inspect that home, set up a private, no-obligation showing, and negotiate on your behalf at no charge if you want to make an offer. If your offer is accepted, Gloria will also help you sell your existing home. Learn more now. Call Gloria at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Dak Prescott here. Why do I choose proven quality sleep from Sleep Number? Because better sleep elevates my game. Only my Sleep Number 360 smart bed helps me fall asleep faster, keeps me cool, and effortlessly adjusts for my best sleep. The result? 28 minutes more restful sleep a night. That's more focus, more edge, and more highlights. And that means more wins for all of us.
Don't miss the final days of the biggest sale of the year. Save 50% on the Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed. Ends Monday. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the NFL.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Dell Technologies semi-annual sale has arrived, and it's time to save big on PCs with Windows 11 Pro. Plus, get great deals on top accessories, including docks, monitors, and more. Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Right now is the perfect time to call Zero Res to deep clean and refresh your carpets, air ducts, upholstery, and more. Call 314-474-2020. Get the Mark Reardon special. 3 rooms, 0 resified, starting at $129, and take $75 off your air duct cleaning. listening. 474-2020.
Want to listen to 97.1 outside the listening area? There's an app for that. Download the Odyssey app, and one tap will turn the station on. The Odyssey app for 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome to the Annie Frey Show. Happy Thursday. See, I didn't put my sheet up today, and so I looked to find out what day it was, and I didn't know. That's not your fault,
but
Brad.
It's right.
It says say Thursday.
It's correct.
Yeah.
It's Thursday.
You were right. You were spot on. It says Thursday, September 8th. And as far as I know, that's the correct day. We're glad you're here. If you're listening to us on the radio on your lunch break, thank you for being here. If you are thinking about streaming us when you get back from work, lunch, then check us out on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Interesting news coming out of the United Kingdom. The Queen seems to be ill. And I'm not somebody who follows the royals. I was saying this to Brad here just a second ago, but I have no palace intrigue about that. I don't engross myself in, what's going on with the dukes and the duchesses. And so, is it duchesses?
Duchesses.
Duchy?
Duchesses.
Duchesses. Duchies. I obviously don't know. But this is a historical situation. Fox News is reporting that the doctors are concerned for Queen Elizabeth's health. The word concerned is being poured over as to what that means. And all I can say is that this woman has led an incredible life.
Mm-hmm.
She is in her late 90s. She has worked essentially every day of her life. And we sit and wait with respect. So I'm not going to, it is huge news right now on a global scale. She's the oldest monarch and the longest serving monarch in history before Louis the VIII or something.
I couldn't tell you that.
I mean, this is a historical figure, probably living the most historically experienced living person right now. So we wish her well. If there is news on that front, we will bring it to you, but I don't anticipate giving you a minute-by-minute update on, now they're saying concerned, and concerned is in quotes. If you have thoughts on that, we would love to hear them from you. You can join us on the Annie Frey YouTube channel and leave comments there, and you can vote in the YouTube live chat poll. I want to ask you this, Brad. I'll ask you this from the top of the show. Do you truly believe that civil war is possible in the United States in your lifetime? Yes or no? Now, we are in our late 30s. Many people listening right now could be in their late 60s. It could be in your 80s. You could also be in your 20s. So, of course, that is a subjective amount of time. But yesterday we discussed how Kathy Griffin said that if you don't want civil war, vote for Democrats. If you do want civil war, vote for Republicans. Quite a statement. That's not the first time that civil unrest has been discussed in the political climate we're in right now. So we talk about these things. It is such an inflammatory statement for Kathy Griffin to make. And so I want to boil it down to brass tacks. Is this rhetoric, or do you actually have a real feeling in your gut and in your heart and in your head that this is something that you could potentially see here in the United States in your lifetime? You can go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel, and then you'll see that we're live. We broadcast every day. You can watch the channel and you can vote yes or no in that. So, Brad, do you truly believe civil war is possible in the United States in your lifetime?
Yeah, because you use the word possible. I absolutely believe it's possible. I think that we're headed in a trajectory that could lead to civil war if we don't figure it out and we don't turn things around. However, that doesn't mean that I think that it's likely or even probable. I think that it's unlikely. I think that it's improbable, but I do think that it's possible.
So you'd vote yes.
Yeah, so I voted yes.
So here's the question. Is the conversation around it right now, do you believe it to be, Brad, rhetoric?
Depends on who's saying it. I think that there are some people out there saying it, trying to get ahead of the narrative, trying to get ahead of the story, be like, see, I was calling it from the beginning, which I don't understand that mindset. I think that there are some people that use it for rhetoric. And then I think there are some people that say it for genuine concern. I think a lot of what we hear, especially like the Kathy Griffins and the Joe Bidens of the world, whenever they talk about dangers and threats to our democracy, it's just political speak. It's trying to rile up their base. And I think that it could become a self-fulfilling prophecy if we keep like saying, oh no, we're going to have a civil war. I think that people will come to a point where they would be like, yeah, I guess this is inevitable. And it's not. And the other side of this is not something we want. Like, there are some people out there that think that this is glorified. Yeah, bring it on. Let's do it. Let's whip their tail. Everybody goes into a war all fired up thinking we're going to whoop the other person's tail. And it turns into 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years of just misery. It would be the end of the United States as we know it. It would be the end of the United States as a world power, because once that power vacuum happens, it could kick off a world war. This is not something that we want. This is not something that we should be talking about lightly. This is not something that we should be proud about predicting. This is something that is serious and dangerous and horrible.
I'm telling everybody to go vote on the poll. I forgot to put it up, so I just did now. So now you should
Nailed
go.
it.
Now you should go vote. Sorry, I suck. It was a busy morning, which is good kind of busy. You said self-fulfilling prophecy, because that was going to be my next question, because I feel like there are times where sometimes we push this, we like speak these things into existence. Every time it comes up, every time the discussion of how divided are we? Well, let's talk about the most divided this country has ever been. Well, in the middle of the 1800s, this country was as divided as it could ever have been. So that's peak Civil War, is peak division. Are we there? So it does become a talking point. And when I bring it up, I brought it up yesterday because I did feel like Kathy Griffin's tweet was so incredibly inflammatory. Also, to suggest, if we think about this for a second, and if you're not familiar with, I should reset the table here about what Kathy Griffin tweeted. I found out yesterday that Kathy Griffin blocked me on Twitter, which is incredibly flattering and weird. I don't understand what I did to be blocked by Kathy Griffin, but here I am. I had seen that she was trending on Twitter, so I clicked on to see what it was. Here's what she tweeted. If you don't want a civil war, vote for Democrats in November. If you do want a civil war, vote Republican. Now, I understand that is a way to try to motivate people to vote Democrat, but is what she's saying there a threat that if they don't win, that they're going to start a civil war?
It sure feels that way.
Because I don't know that that's the way it's like initially being presented and discussed. But she's basically saying, if her side doesn't win, you will have war in your hands. Yikes.
And buried within that, contained within that, is this, like, she's trying to push the idea that the Republicans will bring about civil war. Here's the thing. If her side doesn't win, that means that the Republicans are in power, which means that they wouldn't bring about civil war because they'd be the ones in power. So the people starting the civil war would
be the dissenters.
Yep.
I don't know if that's really what she intended, but the more I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, wait a second here. You're saying if your side doesn't win, then civil war is imminent. What are you saying here? And I think it's a bit disconcerting. I also think that for people like me who see this and go, oh, that's a topic, I can nail that into the ground and talk about Kathy Griffin's talking about civil war. I got to be careful with that, because when I take what she said and make it more prominent, even though it's in my teeny tiny corner here in St. Louis, where you and I are spending the afternoon together. Thank you for being here. When we're discussing it in our small corner of the world, we still are putting a spotlight on it. And every time something like this gets discussed, it gets a little bit easier to discuss it the next time, and the next time, and the next time. I refuse to believe that the people who you meet on a daily basis, the people who you sit next to in church, the people who you sit next to at Little League baseball games, the people who you serve on a community board with, or, attend a weekend getaway with, these people don't agree with you on everything you stand for because they have different perspectives and experiences. But these people are not here where Kathy Griffin is. Kathy Griffin has an insatiable need to be seen and heard because it's her job. It's my job too. If I'm not seen and heard, if nobody's listening to me, I will have to find another line of work.
She has 2.1 million followers.
That's a lot. So she puts something like this out there, and if you're not critical about, the things that you read and the things that you consume, if you're not critical about it, you're going to consume this, and then the next Civil War tweet that you hear and be like, gosh, a lot of people are talking about this. And you're going to ask yourself, based solely on anecdotal experience, is this really an issue that's facing our country? And I don't know that it is. Like, if you shut out the people who are constantly clamoring for your attention, their sole purpose in life is to get your eyes and ears, not even your agreement, not even your affirmation that they are correct in where they stand. They only need and crave your attention. That's what Kathy Griffin is. And I will say, to an extent that is mine as well. I care for that. I try to care for that very deeply and with a great amount of sensitivity, because I feel so blessed to have an opportunity to speak on things that I want to make sure I use this opportunity for something more than just attention and ratings and the things that go along with the privilege to have a radio show. But the more that these types of things get thrown out there, and the more they get, trumped up in a way that, Civil War, well, I better make sure I have on my red uniform when that day comes, or, locked and loaded, these types of things. I just don't feel like that's constructive. And it is playing with fire a little bit, in that I do believe that you can speak these things into reality. I look at two instances, and yes, I'm going to talk about these in the same breath. I talk about the summer of 2020 and the way that these protests in these cities, they took these cities to their knees. Fires, attacks on law enforcement, mayhem and chaos. And we just sat there and watched it, frozen, because who's supposed to be the protector of law and order? Of course, it's law enforcement. Well, they were the ones who were targeted in those protests. So who then enforces order and law? It's if we don't have a structure and a system that respects and demands law and order, we don't have a functioning society. And truly, what took place on January 6th, I would say, is in that same category, where we dismissed law and order for a purpose or a cause. I think that they are comparable instances. I think they're on the opposite side of the spectrum. I think they all involve people who probably had some righteous anger. But it's the same thing I say to my kids. Listen, children, if you are incredibly angry right now, or if you are really frustrated right now, that's okay. That is an emotion that you feel. You are responsible with what you do with that emotion. I have to remind myself that as well. When I get angry or frustrated with something, I have to work very hard to be responsible for my actions with that anger and frustration. That doesn't mean that you don't get to express anger and frustration, but you are responsible with how you express it. And clearly, during these riots that were taking place in cities across our country, we lost a gas station here. They set a gas station on fire not very far from where I'm sitting right now in St. Louis, Missouri. We've seen plenty of our fair share of protests. We saw it across the country where, like I said, these protesters took these cities to their knees. That is not the appropriate way to express anger and frustration that you have with a problem that you deem legitimate, that deserves the attention of the American people. Storming a Capitol building and stealing stuff from Nancy Pelosi's office and standing behind the podium in the Senate, I don't think that that's the way that you need to express that frustration and anger either. We as a news media treat those situations incredibly different. That's completely unfair. which means that we don't actually, if you think January 6th was the darkest day in United States history, or if you're looking back to the protests that were taking place in the summer and you're thinking that you can't believe that you're seeing your country brought to its knees in this way, if you're looking at both of those instances and you think one is completely justified and one is the worst thing ever, then you don't value law and order. You value your political position over law and order. And what I'm saying is law and order has to be present in both situations. And if there is a righteous indignation that is taking place, it needs to be expressed in a way where we value that. And if we don't get back to the place where we value law and order, we call into question situations in our society where law and order is not being fairly and adequately applied, we have to be able to question those instances, whether it's within our rank and file police or whether it's with the highest investigative departments in our country. We have to apply that equally. And while we are in a country that does not value law and order, then maybe civil war is potentially possible. But right now, I think it is rhetoric. And I think anybody who's using it to stoke the fire is just selling you something. Be very leery of that. And also, like Brad said, weird point to have to make, but he's right. It's not a good thing. It is. We need to make sure that we stick with the idea that order and law and strength in our country and what makes it great, which is its people, that we protect that. We owe that to the future generations of this country. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Hans von Spakovsky. Speaking of law and order, he is a Department of Justice lawyer. He is also a senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation. We're going to ask him about some of these instances right now. Comparatively speaking, the direction our country is going in. Do we have confidence? Do we have comfort that the security of our country and law and order is in place? Hans will talk to us about that when we come back. And your vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Do you truly believe civil war is possible in the United States in your lifetime? Yes or no? The poll is now up. Please go give us a vote. Leave us a comment. Back in a minute.
He's a prison shaking savior if you got chains. He's a chain breaker.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
We've all found ourselves worn out from the same old fire. We've all run to things we know just ain't right. And there's a better life. There's a better life.
More than ever, this is where St. Louis is coming to talk. Computer, smart speaker, radio, phone. People are gathering here. Thanks for listening and staying connected. 97.1 FM Talk.
CAJonesInc.com is the website to check out your home builder on the state Illinois side of the river. I am so happy to be partnered with CA Jones because they understand the communities that are around the east side. They understand the homes that people are looking to build. They understand the importance of energy efficiency. They understand the importance of you being able to rely on them to deliver. Your satisfaction throughout the entire process is the key point of their success becoming the largest home builder in the area. If you are looking for ideas, for inspiration, you can go to CAJonesInc.com and you can see buildable plans of a whole bunch of different kinds of homes that they have built all across the Illinois side. If you are looking for homes that are available right now, new builds, a huge amount of inventory available also on their website for energy efficiency, for reliability and confidence that your house that you're going to have built is going to be the home that you love. I want you to check out CA Jones's website. All the details, information online about who they are, how they help the community, and the home that they can build for you at CAJonesInc.com.
If you own a business, this has been a bumpy ride. From pandemic to inflation, I'm sure you could use a break. If your business has 5 or more employees and survived COVID, you may be eligible to receive a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. The challenge is getting your hands on it. Hi, I'm Howard Mackler, and that's why I founded GetRefunds.com to cut through the red tape and get you the money. The team of tax attorneys we have put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program. We do all the work, charge not a dime up front. and simply share a percentage of the cash that we get for you. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those that took PPP, nonprofits, and even those that had increases in sales. We have helped return over $1 billion to businesses, and we can help you too. Just go to getrefunds.com, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited period of time. Don't lose out on up to $26,000 per employee. Go to getrefunds.com. That's getrefunds.com.
You wouldn't trust a butcher to babysit your pet pig. You wouldn't trust a lumberjack to repair your antiques. Or a professional wrestler to be your massage therapist. So why would you trust anyone but AMCO to fix your car? For over 50 years, we've been the trusted experts in transmission repair.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
AAMCO.
Man, what a great party you're throwing here. This wasp nest is great.
Yeah, man, we got about 70 wasps in here. It's one in, one out.
Too bad we can't fit any more wasps in here. It looks like they're having fun outside, stinging all the kids. Oh, man, who just pulled up?
Oh, no, it's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They seem to kill every one of my parties.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. We'd love to help you out, so please visit us online at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
I'm Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group. I'm proud to say we are a family business. Through innovative financial tools, my nephew Bob and I are committed to making sure your retirement nest egg is kept safe from market declines. As a matter of fact, we have never lost a dime of our clients' money, and we won't lose any of yours either.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, and the secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. As we look ahead at the likelihood of increasing volatility in the market, it's important that you protect your nest egg from market losses, as that's the engine that drives your retirement income.
Our family would like to help your family retire comfortably and keep your retirement safe and secure. Call us now for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of my second edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. We've been helping retirees and pre-retirees retire with confidence for 36 years. Call us now, 314-993-9494. or online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Out in the country past the city limit sign where there's a honky-tonk near the county line. The joint starts jumping every night when the sun goes down. They got whiskey, women, music, and smoke. It's where all the cowboy folk go to Bootskin Boogie. I got a good job. I would call.
And she didn't address the only question that's in dispute, which is, can the former president have standing to say that the investigators don't even get to look at the documents, the classified documents that he wrongfully had at Mar-a-Lago? And that's the only question. And she dodges it. And then she says that she's bringing in a special master to look at whether stuff is executive privilege or not. That's not where the dispute is. I mean, if the government came today and said, we'll stipulate that everything that's deliberative there, whether it's classified or not, would ordinarily be subject to executive privilege, it begs the question. That's not what the issue is. That's why I think it was that opinion was a mistake.
So you think it'll be appealed or overruled? Is the
I hope it's appealed.
You believe it?
Yeah.
The former Attorney General Bill Barr talking about the ruling for a special master. And these are, I've never heard of a special master before all of this. I don't understand the details behind it. I listen and I try to understand. Bill Barr ends up sending, just kind of dissenting what seems to be the pro-Trump side of this issue. It's very confusing. Meanwhile, the investigation continues, and we still don't know specifically what these documents were, or the purpose of getting them back, which is why we bring our legal expert on, Hans von Spakovsky, Senior Legal Fellow at the Heritage Foundation, a DOJ lawyer, and also an author. Hans, welcome back to the show. Great to have you here.
Sure. Thanks for having me on. And, one thing I noticed, Danny, was, remember, part of what the Justice Department has used to justify what it's doing was its concern about all of these documents being held at Mar-a-Lago and not in a secure location. And yet in the year and a half that they had them, there wasn't a single leak about them. On the other hand, ever since Justice got these documents, what have we been seeing? All kinds of leaks coming out about what the Justice Department had.
It almost makes you think that they are more interested in getting Trump than they are protecting sensitive documents. Let me ask you this question, because this is something that I've heard people bring up, and I don't know the answer to it specifically. We've talked to other legal experts as well, who have said that the president has the ability to declassify anything. There's not a limitation to his ability to declassify. But just because he declassifies something doesn't necessarily mean he can possess, as I understand it, those specific documents. Is that true that he that maybe while it's not that he possessed classified information because he declassified it himself, that he would still not be in the right to have those documents in his possession?
Well, maybe technically so, but as I think you and I have talked about before, the National Archives has always allowed presidents, former presidents, whether Democrats or Republicans, to take huge swaths of documents with them when they leave office, because they know that those presidents always work on their memoirs and things like that, and eventually they return them, but not within a year and a half of them leaving office. And a lot of those papers also end up going to do what? Help establish the libraries, the presidential library. So it's never been strictly enforced the way they're doing it now. Certainly never with a criminal grand jury investigation and this kind of raid by the FBI.
Hans von Spakovsky with us right now. What about the suggestion of nuclear secrets or nuclear capabilities of a mystery country? There's a leak that's come out that suggests that this is part of the content that he possessed. A, do we know that to be true? And B, if it is true, does that spell any trouble for the president?
Well, no, we don't need to know it's true, because, look, these are the same kind of leaks that came out in the Washington Post and elsewhere back when the whole Russia's colluding with Trump story came out, all of which turned out to be completely untrue. And by the way, there's actually a footnote in the judge's opinion that says, when asked about the dissemination to the media of information relative to the contents of the seized records, government's counsel stated he had no knowledge of any leaks stemming from his team. Well, where the hell else are they coming from? So there's all kinds of issues in this. By the way, supposedly they're after, documents protected under the Presidential Records Act, and yet when you read the judge's order, they seized clothing of the president, medical documents, correspondence related to taxes, and accounting information. Now, what in the world does that have to do with presidential records or anything generated in the White House? Absolutely nothing. And yet the FBI seized all of those materials.
We're speaking with Hans von Spakovsky right now. I'm going to interrupt our conversation here right now because some pretty significant historical breaking news happening. Queen Elizabeth II has died at age 96. That news just breaking right now. Quite a shocking story to be interjected, because, of course, we haven't heard a lot from they don't really report a whole lot on health, as I've gathered here in the last probably 3-4 hours on the health of the Queen. And so for her, the news to come out today that they had gathered the family to her bedside, it was a pretty dramatic moment. And the Queen Elizabeth II has died at age 96. We are speaking with Hans von Spakovsky right now. We'll get to the details of the passing of the Queen here in a minute. But, let's talk for a second, Hans, I'd like to shift a little bit to the questions of questioning elections. We've heard Corinne Jean-Pierre be asked about her questioning of previous elections. We do know that her tweets came out and suggested that maybe she was concerned about the security and the safety of the election when Stacey Abrams was running in Georgia, and so on and so forth. I'm wondering, because you've looked very much into elections, making sure they're safe and secure. You've written the book, Our Broken Elections, How the Left Changed the Way You Vote. What's the history that we have right now in even the last 6, 7, 8 years of people questioning elections and how we have reacted to it as a country?
Well, it has happened all the time. And there are many Democrats who still claim that Hillary Clinton actually won the 2016 election when she didn't, including the spokeswoman at the White House, who you were just citing, who actually refused to back down from that statement when specifically asked about it by a Fox reporter. And, the idea that if you question the outcome of election, why you're acting in a criminal manner, and that's the view that we now hear from the Justice Department and so many others, that is just absurd. I think it's a good idea once an election is over and once everything and anything relating to it has been investigated and discredited. Yeah, at that point, you should stop saying that. But the idea that that's criminal is just totally ridiculous and dangerous.
I'm curious what your thoughts are, like the First Amendment rights that Americans have. Corinne Jean-Pierre's right to question what took place in Georgia, or Hillary Clinton's right to write a book called What Happened and highlight all of the issues that led into her loss in 2016 and the people who felt as though that election was taken from her. I mean, it seems as though social media platforms right now don't want you questioning elections. And they want to make sure that the elections are respected and fortified, and they're pulling back on some and maybe not on others. Should we have that First Amendment right to question anything at any time? Or is there something to be said about trying to rein in false claims, even though they might be under the umbrella of free speech?
Well, the people who shouldn't be reining in false claims are not the government or agents working for the government like social media platforms. That's for us, the American people, to make our own decisions about what's correct and what's not. And those social media platforms are acting in a very biased manner. They're censoring anyone who questioned the results of the 2020 election, but you notice they don't question or censor Democrats and liberals questioning the results, for example, of the 2016 election. That they don't do it. That just shows how biased they are.
Well, we appreciate you being on with us, Hans. We're going to get to this breaking news regarding the Queen. Thank you for being with us, and we look forward to talking to you again next week.
Sure thing. Sounds good.
All right. Bye-bye. Hans von Spakovsky, Senior Legal Fellow at the Heritage Foundation. Real quick before we take a break, we want to go to this breaking news coverage. Queen Elizabeth II has died at age 96. Brad, let's listen in and hear the reports.
Breaking news. Sandra?
The Queen has passed away. The Queen died peacefully, the royal family says, at Balmoral this afternoon. The King and the Queen Consort will remain at Balmoral this evening and will return to London tomorrow. Queen Elizabeth II has died at the age of 96. John, her health in just recent weeks and months obviously was called into question. There were some of the instances around her birthday back in April she missed due to her health declining, and it has come to this day where we now say goodbye to Queen Elizabeth II.
I mean, when you think about her reign, it is remarkable. She became queen upon her father Charles VI's death in February of 1952. Her coronation was June 3rd of the following year, but she has sat on that throne for 70 years now, becoming not only the longest reigning monarch in UK history, but the longest reigning monarch in world history as well. And she remained vital right up until the very end. I mean, it is a sad day in the UK and around the world, the passing of Queen Elizabeth. But what an amazing life she lived! What amazing service she delivered to the UK and 14 other Commonwealth countries around the world. And the fact that she was so beloved here in the United States, despite this country's history with Britain going back to the 1700s, I mean, really is a testament to her being a force of nature and such a person to look up to in so many countries around the world.
Queen Elizabeth II, dead at age 96, the longest reigning monarch in world history. Whew. What a life. And I have to say, too, as I was speaking on this a little bit earlier, as we were kind of watching to monitor this news, I'm not somebody who follows the royals. I respect the history and the historical importance and relevance of the monarchy to that community across the country. I mean, across the world. The monarchy, the queen was a queen for a lot of countries. It was not just the United Kingdom. I respect what it is. I'm not personally invested. I don't know a whole lot about the whole family, but this is a very historical moment, and we want to pay our respects to that. And it'll be interesting to see what develops in the next coming hours and days. As from what I understand now, Prince Charles is going to be the king, or is the king. I don't know how that all works. We'll have to pay attention to this. The line of succession goes to Charles, Prince of Wales, who I presume was the king, and then Prince William. And then it goes from Prince William to his 3 children in order: Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince, is it Louis or Louis? Or Louis?
It's probably Louis.
And then Harry is after William's 3 children. So it's quite a historical day. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will talk about Wiggins America. We're going to talk about St. Louis and some things that are very important to passionate St. Louis lovers and defenders. And Ryan Wiggins will bring us those details in Wiggins America when we come back. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. The Mark Cox Morning Show.
Former Senator Jim Talent. I've been trying to determine where I should come down on it. I'm suspicious of it, though.
I hate to use the overused phrase, the devil's in the details. You want to see how it's actually working in the details.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9.
One of the most important aspects of the diamond shop, and this really precedes their name, is their reputation. They want to make sure they go in above and beyond to make sure that every piece that leaves their shop is perfect and that the client that they're working with is absolutely satisfied. The Diamond Shop has been around since 1910. You can visit them in Clayton. You can go online right now to thediamondshop.net. And I want to talk to you about a few things that they do there and then how they make that purchasing process as convenient and easy as it possibly can be for people just like you. They will do custom jewelry. So if you have an idea in mind, something that doesn't exist out there, maybe something that's incredibly personal to you, maybe you have a piece of jewelry that you want to change from one thing to the next, go see the people at the Diamond Shop. They are wonderful. They will work with you. They will help you come up with a design if you need a little assistance, and they will walk you through that whole process. They have jewelry and watch repair. They do appraisals, and they also buy gold. If you're looking to make a purchase, they also offer 6 months financing, same as cash. Become a VIP online by going to thediamondshop.net.
Hi, Mark Goldstein here for Edwards Carpet. Times are tough, we're making less, and you're still paying more. So if you need new flooring, now is the time. Take advantage of our Labor Day sale. Carpet starting at $349, completely installed with pad, including take-up of old carpet and furniture moving. For this sale, everything's on sale. You can take advantage of our 12-month 0% financing, and if that's not enough, you'll pay no tax. Don't miss out, because these days, if you wait, you'll simply pay more. See you soon at Edwards Carpet.
Come on down to Edwards Carpet Store.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet Store. Do you want to walk and stay healthy, but cannot because you are in pain?
I just had difficulty walking. I could not walk in bare feet at all.
Do you keep buying new shoes and inserts from the drugstore with little or no relief?
I tried all kinds of shoes. It was the arch supports that made the difference from the Good Feet Store.
The Good Feet system fits in all your shoes. So come to the Good Feet Store and become pain-free today.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Catty Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Dearborn's.
Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet store.
Let the Dave Munganast Pre-Owned Center on South Limburg put you behind the wheel of your next vehicle. Customers are seeing that when you choose the Dave Munganast Pre-Owned Center in South County, you're getting more than a great deal. You're joining the Munganast family. Come see the difference at DaveMunganast.com since 1965.
If you filed a tax extension in April, don't wait until it's too late to handle your tax issues. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Drury Law Firm. Every year, thousands of Missourians file extensions when their taxes are due in April. But what people don't know is the extension only moves your deadline to file your return, not to pay your taxes. So if you didn't pay anything back in April, you could now owe taxes plus interest plus penalties. You think you've bought yourself time, but really you've just added to the total bill. If this sounds like you, call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. I am a local tax attorney with an A+ BBB rating, and I will meet with you right away to help handle your tax problems quickly. The deadline to file your return after an extension has already passed, so call the Lance Drury Law Firm now before it's too late. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. Call attorney Lance Drury, 314-260-6120, or go to lance.drurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. In addition to heating and cooling, Air Comfort Service also offers indoor air quality, water heater, and AeroSeal duct sealing services. Get in your comfort zone with aircomfortservice.com.
Information to keep you moving. Dependable traffic, mornings and afternoons with Sue Thomas. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor. This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Breaking news, major breaking news. Queen Elizabeth II, the longest reigning British monarch, is dead at 96. Quite a life lived. We'll talk a little bit more about that later in the 1 o'clock hour. But it's 1:45 or it's 12:45 right now, and it's time for Wiggins America.
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins! Well, I saw a list of hills that we would all possibly die on. It came from the RFT. And
I know this came from the RFT. It's worded really weirdly.
It is. It's St. Louis stuff. You know, and a lot of it was stuff that we've tread over many times before. So I wanted to skip that stuff because there were a few in there that I thought, wow, that really is a St. Louis thing, but we haven't talked about it as much. And I wanted to kind of give it to the room and see if this is something that you agree. This is absolutely a St. Louis thing, and I agree with that, or no, that's ridiculous.
Before we get into this, just as a rule, would you say there are a lot or not very many hills that you'd be willing to die on?
I would say there are not a whole lot.
There are not a lot of hills that I'm willing to die on.
But these are supposedly things that divide us or bring us together, depending on which side of them that you'd be on.
I think Brad has a lot of hills.
I do.
Yeah,
I do. There's a lot of hills.
He's the guy who says on the air, that's a hill I'm willing to die on.
I will take you to the mat on a lot of things.
I will be like, I don't think so. And then someone will fight me. I'll be like, okay.
You know what? There are a lot of things that we talk about, though, that if pressed, I would say, no, actually, I would defend that. I don't know about to the death is the question. That's the term, right? Is would you die on that hill?
I think it's really more of a metaphor.
Yeah, I would hope so.
But I mean, like, just even like investing in actual commitment to winning an argument.
Well, today's YouTube poll.
My day job is dying on those hills. That's what I do for a living. I can't imagine you're going to
bring any of those in this.
These are going to be little bumps, not hills for me.
Well, you decide.
I might be completely wrong.
I would love to see if any one of these rises to that for you. Tornado alarms are merely suggestions. It's fine to stand outside and watch the storm.
No.
It's not fine.
I used to think that way. I went to Joplin and spent 3 days cleaning up Joplin, and that drastically changed.
I bet it would.
I mean, complete and utter devastation as far as the eye can see, because this tornado, it was so big that it didn't look like a tornado, which is the craziest thing. I grew up, I mean, you guys have been to the house that I grew up in a beautiful, wide open view of the western horizon. You saw every storm coming in, even the ones that were far enough away that they didn't hit you. Used to watch it all the time. Nope. Get in the basement. Not to mention the fact that Amazon building tornado base, it hit my parents' house and I was there.
Mhm.
And I'm glad we were down there.
That was just recently, too.
Yeah, last December.
So when you say they're merely a suggestion, like, I don't think they should be a law. I think you're stupid if you don't go take shelter, but
I got to admit,
I'm not going to,
I'm not
going to be like, you have to
outside.
do that. So I'm not surprised.
Well, this is what I will say, though. I'm outside until the tornado warning hits, and then I'm in the basement. So that to say that the warning is the suggestion, no. The warning gets my butt where I need to be. And when you have kids, you can't screw around with that.
No, you don't. And that's the big delineator is when it becomes, okay, now there is a tornado in your area. That to me is, okay, now we got to go in the basement for sure.
Storm watches. Yeah, I'm watching for the storm.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Tornado warnings. Do not mess with that. Get in the basement.
All right. People who live in St. Charles or Illinois are not, quote, from St. Louis.
That's a thing. That is such an RFT thing to say.
Well, I don't know which side of the issue they're taking, because to me, this one depends on where you are. If you're in St. Louis talking about it.
It's like saying the county is St. Louis.
Now, if I'm outside of this area, I'm always saying I'm from St. Louis.
Here's the thing, folks. This is not a hill I'm willing to die on. And when I'm out of town, I say I'm from the Illinois side of St. Louis.
Do you really?
Oh, yeah. That's what I say.
Oh, I always just say St. Louis.
I usually say, oh, I'm from St. Louis, the Illinois side of St. Louis. That's exactly how I say it. And if that makes the RFT mad, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not dying on that hill, but you can stand there and wait for me to come fight you as long as you need to.
You can go practice falling down. I'll be there in a second.
Maybe.
All right, this one, I think this one has been discussed, but I really wanted to know what you guys think. Missouri, not Missouri.
I'm not from St. Louis, so I say Missouri.
Exactly.
It's Missouri.
It's Missouri, right?
It's English language.
That's a rural versus city thing, right?
I think
and we're
so.
not necessarily from the city.
No,
but
I don't think so.
No? I thought that was, if you're rural Missouri, then for sure you're saying Missouri. But if you're from
like
closer,
I said, I'm not from St. Louis. I actually don't know anybody who says Missouri. But there is nobody who's not from Missouri who says Missouri. So maybe there's that.
Correct. And we're all, we missed the whole high school thing. What high school are you from? Because we're Illinois. Because people go, what high school are you from? We go, we live in Illinois. And they just go, I don't know what to do with that.
Because
okay, go.
They don't know the Illinois high school, so they don't know how to judge you when you answer the question, which is why you ask the question. Oh, what kind of neighborhood were you from? Were you rich? Were you poor? Were you cool? Were you not cool? Were you good at sports? Were you not good at sports? You just ask that question and you're like, I know everything about you. Except for I'm from Illinois, so you don't.
I usually say Illinois, but like really rich.
Collinsville.
Yeah, Collinsville.
You know.
And then they go, oh, okay, because they have no idea what happens in Illinois. It's Highway 40, not 64.
No, it's 64.
I'm with you. It's 64.
It's an interstate.
Andy's going, I have no opinion.
That's the Poplar Street Bridge, right?
Yes. But that's 44 also.
I know. And it's 5570. Like, I think that people, well, I guess it could be 55 or 70. I don't know. I don't even know what road we're talking about.
But
is it on my ways? Because if it's on ways, I just do it.
But once you get past where those split off, where 55 and 70 split off.
These people who we're talking about in Missouri don't even know where that is.
That's
they're either going to Chicago or they're not. If they're driving that road.
It's called St. Louis Bread Company, not Panera. Care? Do you care?
Actually, I think it's called Breadco.
It's Breadco.
St. Louis Bread Company is too much. It's not Panera. I don't call it Panera. I call it Breadco, but I don't call it St. Louis Breadco. It's too much. I don't have that kind of time.
But do you care what's on the sign?
It warms my heart to see St. Louis Breadco because it makes me, if it's that way, it's at home. They're changing those here now.
Wait,
that's actually to Panera.
Oh no,
that's a news story that's out right now. I wish
sad.
I would have saved it, but I think it might be one in St. Charles or something like that. I might be getting that wrong, but there are local Breadcos that are turning to Paneras.
Oh, I hate to hear that.
Yeah, why?
Because St. Louis was one of the only ones that had it.
Rhetorical, why?
Oh, okay.
I know the answer to why.
Apparently, Atlanta had Atlanta Breadco too. The Panera is transitioning.
I bet it sucked. Oh wait, was it Panera?
Well, Panera bought out all the St. Louis bread company, or they had them localized just in these two areas. Yeah, the Atlanta bread.
Not the St. Louis,
No.
because
And we're
Panera
called
is St. Louis.
Yes.
Man, they should have less names. This would be less confusing.
Yes.
Maybe it should be Panera.
Yes.
I will always call it Breadco. Isn't it Panera Bread Company?
I
think Breadco.
that doesn't sound right.
It's just Panera.
I think
Panera.
it should be Panera Breadco, but that loses the St. Louis thing anyway.
It's
man. We're out of time.
We're out of time.
We can't even solve this now. Tyrus, when we come back.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Get a bottle of Andrea's steak sauce or their salad dressing, because if you haven't, you're missing out. The story behind Andrea's is really cool because it's so local. Andrea's, they started this restaurant in 1978 in the Metro East and made the sauce right there at the restaurant, and now it's internationally famous. So it's still locally made, internationally known. They ship a bottle or a case to the White House every year since the early 80s. That's how famous it's gotten. And so if you haven't had a bottle of Andrea's, highly recommend you do that. This is grilling season. This is the best time to be outside in the evenings, making a steak or making chicken. We did pork tenderloin the other night with Andrea's on it. It was fantastic. So get a bottle at Schnucks or Deerberg's or Straub's. There's some other local grocery stores and farmers markets that carry it too. But those are the easiest places to get it, or Andreas.com. Of course, you can also pick up a bottle at the restaurant, which, like I said, is where they make it, right there on the grounds of the restaurant in Fairview Heights, Illinois. Andreas.com, or the restaurant is right there in Fairview Heights.
Attention veterans, if you were stationed at Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987, you and your family may be victims of toxic water poisoning. You could be awarded financial compensation for your suffering. Cancers, birth defects, deadly illnesses have all been linked to the contaminated water. Congress is now holding the government accountable, but you must act now. Get your free case review. Call True Law at 877-560-8555, 877-560-8555, or visit sickvets.com. That's sickvets.com.
Updating your home with James Hardie Siding has never been more popular. With all of the options available, you need a partner to maximize your investment. The rising prices on vinyl siding has made Hardie Siding a great alternative. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, board and batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is a Fox News alert. Britain's Queen is dead. I'm Lisa Brady. The formal announcement coming just a short time ago after word earlier today that Queen Elizabeth II was under medical supervision at her Scottish estate.
The royal family saying, quote, the Queen died peacefully at Balmoral this afternoon. The King and Queen Consort, that would be Camilla, will remain at Balmoral this evening and will return to London tomorrow. That means that Charles, of course, immediately becomes king on the Queen's death.
Fox Business's Ashley Webster, all 4 of her sons had gathered to be with the Queen, along with grandson Prince William. Prince Harry was reportedly en route to Scotland as well earlier today. Elizabeth became Queen after her father died in 1952.
She loved her father, George VI, and like her father, she always was very understated. She knew that the role of Queen was to be uncontroversial, provide quiet stability. And I think she operated under a couple of mantras. One was just set an example, and number 2, do your duty. And she lived by those mantras, and for 70 years, she certainly lived up to those things that she felt were very important as a monarch.
Queen Elizabeth II was 96, the longest serving living British monarch ever. Tributes were already underway around the world after the palace expressed concern for the Queen's health earlier today, with President Biden offering thoughts and prayers.
The president also conveyed to Prime Minister Truss during a previously scheduled video conference this morning that he and Dr. Biden are thinking of the Queen, her family, and the people of the United Kingdom.
White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre, shortly before news of the Queen's death, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi just ordering flags to half staff at the U.S. Capitol. Again, Britain's Queen Elizabeth has died. She was 96. America is listening to Fox News.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Are you tired of being tracked online? There's a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us, on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
All about sunshine on this Thursday afternoon. Nice humidity levels. We should top out with a high of 83 degrees. Tonight, clear skies, upper 70s for evening plans, 59 for the low. Friday, sunny and 85. No concerns for the Friday night football games. Saturday, partly sunny, couple of showers, but very limited, 82. Real good chance of rain by Sunday afternoon. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
It's happening right here, right now.
MAGA Republicans do not respect the Constitution. They do not believe in the rule of law. They do not recognize the will of the people.
In his speech, he said we should look at each other as Americans and not enemies. And yet he singled out a segment of Americans and said basically they're our enemy.
If Donald Trump gave this speech, I think they might not stop talking about it for weeks.
This is 97.1 FM Talk.
Feeling the pinch of higher prices?
Golden Oak Lending can save you money with their low fixed rates.
James Hawkins here, president of Golden Oak. You can offset today's high prices by using the low interest equity in your home to pay off credit cards, make home improvements, or simply put cold hard cash back in your pocket.
Start saving money and skip 2 mortgage payments. Call 314-567-GOLD today.
Golden Oak Lending, short my blues.
NMLS 114937.
So I want to talk to you about Stewart's American Mortgage, and I want to talk to you about why you choose them over anybody else when it comes to your mortgage refinance. Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage, he is going to help you go through this whole process with the bagel loan. And when you use the bagel loan, it costs you zero in fees that other lenders out there are going to charge you for. Stewie is your guy. I've used him twice, and I know that when you go through the process, and I hear from Annie Frey Show listeners regularly who go to Stewart's American Mortgage, they go through the bagel loan process, and they reach out to me and say, Annie, oh my gosh, it was so easy, and we are in such a better financial position because of Stewie. Here's the number to call or text to go through your mortgage refinance. If you're purchasing a home, you can use the bagel loan as well, a cash out refinance, all on the table as options. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Reach out to Stewie today. Mention the Annie Frey Show when you do and get on the process to improving your financial position. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
Tune into the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Del, self-made millionaire and founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, will show you how to live the life of your dreams and pay for it with passive income.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
Come to the Enchanted Attic. Come to the Enchanted Attic. Come to the Enchanted Attic, and the mysteries of life shall be revealed. Gaze into a crystal ball to see your future. Breathe in the exotic fragrances of incense, candles, and essential oils. Adorn your body with jewelry encrusted with mystical gemstones from around the world. Why, many who enter the magical realm of the Enchanted Attic feel as though they have entered another dimension in time and space. But actually, in reality, they have just entered 304 South Main Street in historic St. Charles, home of the famous Enchanted Attic. This is Diane, and you need to come to the Enchanted Attic. It's mystical, magical, and a whole lot of fun. Open every day, free gift with purchase. You'll love this store.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Lori Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
If you're retiring soon, join us Saturday at 9:30 a.m. for your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Odyssey is your home for all the audio that matters to you. Download the Odyssey app today to listen to 97.1 FM Talk, even when you don't have a radio. Always streaming at 971talk.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
It's not climate change that has done this. It's the climate change activists that poisoned the dialogue with hysteria for 30, 40, maybe 50 years. I mean, imagine if instead of crying wolf, they were talking wolf, right? It might have actually, if you remove the constant hyperbole, somebody like me would have actually been on your side. But I became so cynical and distrustful and alienated by these people that were constantly fear-mongering. I didn't trust them at all. And then I saw that the fear-mongering was becoming like a cash cow. You could see it in the media. There were all these specials about it. Everybody's talking about it. If you want to get a good magazine portrait or interview on you, talk about the environment. It's suddenly everybody was talking about climate because it was good for their pocketbook. And that made me think it was even more suspicious.
Gutfeld there talking about climate change and the alarmism that surrounds the issue. And we talked a little bit about this yesterday, but I'm looking forward to asking our next guest this question. If the climate is, if in the words of AOC, I don't know, it was like 4 or 5 years ago, she said we had like 12 years left. If it were that dire, wouldn't you be trying to get people on your side of this issue, attracting, the flies with honey rather than vinegar? Well, let's ask Tyrus about it.
You're becoming like my most stable relationship. Enough said.
Tyrus, welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We love having you here. Thanks for being with us.
Always a pleasure. How are you? Are you okay? We got the bad news today.
Yes, we did announce just a little bit before, and it's worth re-mentioning again. Queen Elizabeth has passed away at age 96. I'm not really like a royals follower in the like entertainment space, but it is quite a historical moment in time. This woman who has served for such a long time as queen. You want to make any comments on that before we move to the other issues?
I think 96 is a hell of a run. So I think everyone had to be anticipating it. So and then Charles, it's the first time England's had a king in a really long time. So I guess you got to say long live the king. And to a lot of my English friends and colleagues I work with, I know Piers Morgan is probably beside himself because he had a personal relationship with the royal family. So my condolences to them. But the show goes on.
You got to look at 96 years of life and just say, to be so fortunate and blessed.
Yeah, I mean that's a good. Like I said, that's a hell of a run. I can't see being 6'8" and 96, but who knows?
Well, it's a goal for us all to work to achieve.
Yeah.
As the country, as the world really is watching what happens next with the passing of Queen Elizabeth, it is kind of interesting to put into perspective issues that we face on a regular daily basis, things that we can contort ourselves into being beside ourselves when issues come up. And you know how it is if you go to work and it's a slow news day and you're like, what do I have to try to work myself up about today? There are so many things that are put in front of us. It's like a buffet every day that if we wanted to go to work and get behind a microphone or in front of a camera and get beside ourselves over climate change is certainly one of them. But it just seems like it's a selective outrage. Even real issues that face us personally, our safety, our security, our country. It just it's weird how these huge issues can just kind of roll with a news cycle.
To get back to what we originally started to talk about today with Gutfeld's comments, I don't agree with him on a lot of things, but I do agree with him with this. Fear mongering with green energy and all that kind of stuff is what their go-to was because it's profitable. And what I have seen on their side is the unwillingness to work with any of the establishments. They want to end the oil companies instead of working with them and finding ways to grow together, because they are trying to be the ones to be, quote unquote, get the cash cow that is green energy, even though our infrastructure isn't ready for it yet. That means nothing to them. But their lives don't change, and AOC said we had 12 years, 6 years ago, or something like that. So I mean, they just make these, in Al Gore, we had 10 years, it's funny. They want to, if you make fake mongers, the earth is going to change no matter what we do. Of course, we could all be better. I would argue the United States actually does a pretty good job in terms of trying to control pollution and things like that. You do the best you can. You're not going to stop anything. The other thing is a lot of it is we chose to live in places. We chose to change water routes, build levees where there wasn't, so we could live in a certain area, and they just assumed Mother Nature was going to go with it. And it doesn't work that way. I'm sure, I don't know how many emissions the dinosaurs and the woolly mammoth were kicking out, but when the ice age changed, and when you look in places, especially like if you go climb the mountains in California, there's a good chance you're going to end up finding, if you dig around long enough, you're going to find seashells and fish fossils. The earth is constantly changing, and where we live is irrelevant. And the ocean will go up, it'll go down. It's just the way it works. And blaming it on man is a good way to make money.
Yeah.
And there's always things we could do better. But let's be honest, making everyone jump to these Green New Deals, which they're all getting subsidies for, and they're all getting jobs on advisory committees for, and they're not interested in working with a Chevron. They're not interested in working with coal miners. Unless, of course, they are going to use those things to build the little batteries. It's laughable. And here's a guy like David Attenborough made a great point. Just off of human growth and population, there's about 30% of wilderness left on the planet that isn't inhabited by man. So, and as our population continues to grow, we're going to impede on our natural resources. And unfortunately, either one, you start restricting breeding of humans, which is not going to happen, or two, unfortunately, you have to accept some hard choices with having, billions of people on the planet, that other things are unfortunately going to go. But again, extinction sucks, but it's happened. It's kind of how this works. You get a good run for a while, and then one day our time will be up. But again, having a 12-year-old cry and blame everyone for what Mother Nature is doing. And again, of course, we have certain things that we have done have affected, but the overall strategy, the earth is constantly changing. And like I said, I belong to Dolphin Project. David Attenborough I don't think I've ever missed any one of his specials. I'm all for doing your part, recycling, etc. But I can't change. Like, I live in Louisiana, and at some point, Mother Nature is going to change and shift, and maybe we'll end up above sea level. But there's also the other side of it where we can end up under the water, and that's just unfortunately the way this planet works.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. To deny that things are changing is to deny science, but to look at the direction with which the powers that be talk on this, you can always follow the money and see where the interest is in pushing these specific issues. We're speaking with Tyrus. You see him on Gutfeld. He's a Fox News contributor. He's also author of a book that if you haven't read yet, you need to go get it. It's called Just Tyrus, a memoir. You should check that out. I want to ask you about a Kathy Griffin tweet that she put out a couple days ago. And she said, if you don't want a civil war, vote for Democrats in November. If you do want civil war, vote Republican. And we have today on our Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll where we're streaming live. Do you truly believe civil war is possible in the United States in your lifetime? Tyrus, I'm going to ask you that question and tell me if you think civil war is possible in this country in your lifetime.
Anything, unfortunately, is possible, but I thought she wanted to get back into mainstream and making threats like that. One, I didn't realize she was a general or was building troops or forces. I mean, it's just laughable. Oh, you're going to have a civil war. That's not the side to worry about. What we've seen with the extreme left is they destroy their own neighborhoods. They destroy their own cities. They go after, they physically try to hurt and harm. Ask the mayor of Portland.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I think they're barking up the wrong tree, declaring war on Republicans. I'm telling you now, Kathy, that it's in the really real world. That's not the group you want to go after. And that's not how they work, and that's not how it works. And fortunately, they're a very small group. These extreme groups that go to violence, Antifa, and they get kind of a cover from mainstream media. But if they're not big enough, they're not a real threat. When Democratic sides, they call it mostly peaceful protest, but it's okay to burn down a Target and destroy an entire community. But if they protest and act a fool in front of a government building, it's insurrection. And I see both as the same thing. The only difference was they did it in front of a government building opposed to people were doing things in neighborhoods and destroying neighborhoods. And no one was going to, those neighborhoods are still destroyed. Those small businesses are still gone. People that were murdered, we don't hear about the nightly news talking in mainstream media, talking about trying to bring those killers to justice. So it's just, to me, it's just ignorance, stupidity. She's better than that. She knows she's better than that. She said it. We're talking about it. So I'd like to think it was a soundbite. But the idea that celebrities like her are going to mobilize an army to run out Republicans is about as laughable as the last time that she decided to be controversial, and her own banner, CNN let her go. Yeah. So all her beef should be towards her side, because every time she's tried to be controversial, they cut her loose. So I'm imagining this is not going to get her back to the CNN New Year's Eve special. So again, we'll see. It's like
they're running low on people over there at CNN. I hear there's some job openings.
Who's going with me?
Yeah.
Who's going with me? All right, let's load up. Let's pack up our hats, and let's no guns, and let's make our signs, and let's storm Georgia
and scream.
I would strongly advise you do not do that.
Not if you want to win. I do think, before I let you go, Tyrus, I do think it's interesting that we hear from the Democrats a lot that democracy is at stake in this next election. So the Democrat politicians are saying you have to vote Democrat in November in order to preserve democracy. And Kathy Griffin is saying that if you don't vote Democrat, that they're threatening war. That sounds fascist to me in both instances, where the only way that we can protect ourselves is if only one party is allowed to be in power.
So the fake issue, they want to argue that. They're not talking about inflation, high crime, the fentanyl epidemic, the problem with the borders. They don't want to talk anything. They want to talk about what is exactly threatened other than their position in office, which they will lose by votes. So if you want to be mad at anyone, be mad at the people in your community that are saying we've had enough. You want to investigate parents. You want to try to make parents look like domestic terrorists and stuff. But you keep running on our democracies at stake. Well, if our democracy was in danger, why would you be talking about voting?
True.
Get out and vote, because MAGA, which is the new catchphrase. I don't know who's writing for the president, but my feeling it's It's what's his name? Schmidt or whatever, the guy who used to write. He's one of the House members who writes screenplays in his off time. Anyways, but that whole, it's just ignorant, and it's just trying to bait people into false fear, and like I said, it's nothing new. We've seen it there was a time on the Republican side that where, it was terrorists were in every Midwest town, and we didn't vote for that, so this is nothing new. It's just the Democrats are just not good at it. This fear of democracy coming to an end, and the only way to stop it is by voting, is in itself an oxymoron.
Man. Well, Tyrus, we always love having you here, and it is a historical day as Queen Elizabeth has passed. Charles has now become the king, and it is a new day in the United Kingdom, a sad day to lose such a historical figure. Thank you for bringing that up and talking to us about it, and we look forward to talking again next week.
Yep, long live the king, right?
Yep, that's what's up next. Thanks so much, Tyrus, co-host of the Tyrus and Timpf podcast. He's on Gutfeld. He's a Fox News contributor, author of the book Just Tyrus, a Memoir, and our weekly guest here on the Annie Frey Show for years. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Illinois State Representative Blaine Wilhour. Why? Because y'all keep messaging me about the Safety Act that's going to be put into play. It is a criminal justice reform act in Illinois. And folks, this has the country talking. What direction is Illinois going come the new year in the guise of criminal justice reform? Your jaw is going to drop. And Illinois State Representative Blaine Wilhour, a member of the Illinois Freedom Caucus, is going to be with us next to tell us exactly what this means. Don't go anywhere.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. Free speech is alive.
It's alive. It's alive. It's alive.
Right here at the frequency of 97.1. It's where St. Louis comes to talk freely. 97.1 FM Talk.
Springtime in St. Louis, and if you hate to paint, do what your neighbor Mr. Rob Miller from Harvesttown Auto Body in St. Peters did. He called Rhino Shield. Rob, what was the thought process for going with Rhino Shield as a business owner?
My family's business is over 10,000 square feet, and it did not have the curb appeal I wanted.
Rob, tell everyone how the experience was with Rhino Shield from start to finish.
The process that I liked was when you came out, you gave me all of these options that would fit my building. Our building was really faded. I don't want to have to paint my building again. 25 years is a long time to not have to worry about the outside maintenance of your building as far as paint. That's a no-brainer. That's why Rhino Shield worked for me.
Are your neighbors jealous?
I would be if I was them.
Thanks, Rob. Now it's time to call 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Genius.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at ThrottleNet. These are the genius IT guys that I've been representing for years and years now. We are number one all the time. Best in customer service from Small Business Monthly. Best in cybersecurity, again, Small Business Monthly. We have an average response time. I love this statistic. The average response time in St. Louis in 2020 by IT companies. You have a problem, you reach out to them, hey, I'm all shut down, help me, was 3 hours. If you got back within 3 hours, you were cool. Ours was 1 minute, 57 seconds, and the guys were very unhappy with that. It takes less than 2 minutes for us to address your problems. Here's a huge thing. We are now offering $500,000 in ransom protection to everyone who uses us. This is part of the deal. You don't pay extra for it. So if you happen to be hit, and you have to pay, we're going to pay it up to $500,000. Now, this shows you how confident we are because no one under our protection has ever had to pay. Go to throttlenet.com/DGS.
The Wall Street Journal reported that home equity is at record levels. And while home values continue to soar, rising interest rates make it harder than ever to unlock equity. What if you could cash out your home's equity right now while it's still sky high and not have to move? You can with Truehold.com. Truehold will will buy your home for full cash value. Best of all, you get to bank all the cash now and continue living in your home. And Truehold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance too. Let's review. Truehold pays your home's full value in cash fast. Use your cash to do everything you've dreamed of, like travel or pay off debt. Call 855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com for the smarter, faster way to cash out your home's full value without having to move. 1-855-300-9993. 1-855-300-9993 or go to Truehold.com.
At Neovitin, our goal is to create safe, dependable multivitamins to support your everyday nutrition when you need it most. That's why we've formulated Neovitin 50 plus multivitamins with 20 daily ingredients, including B vitamins for energy support, vitamin C for immune support, and Dr. Abicki's 4-ingredient proprietary blend that you won't find in any other multivitamins. Neovitin 50 plus multivitamins come in 2 specifically designed formulas to help support your nutritional needs. Neovitin Men's 50 plus multivitamin for men 50 and older, and Neovitin Women's 50 plus multivitamin for women 50 and older. With a 4.8 out of 5-star rating on Trustpilot, you can be sure you are getting quality nutritional support with Neovitin. Support your best life today with Neovitin 50 plus multivitamins. Available at your local Deerbergs, Schnucks, and online with our easy-to-use monthly subscriptions at neovitin.com. That's Neovitin.com. Neovitin.com.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Well, I guess it would be nice if I could touch your body. I know not everybody has got a body like you, but I gotta think twice before I give my heart away. And I know all the games you play because I play them too. Oh, but I need some time off from that emotion. Time to pick my heart up off the floor. Oh, when that love comes down with.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Illinois violent crime has risen since JB took office and remains above the national average. Illinois has had more than 1,000 homicides in 2020, setting a multi-decade high. Chicago's murder count went up 60% since JB's first year in office.
So that's candidate Darren Bailey for governor, and the crime that has plagued specifically Cook County, Chicago, but the state of Illinois. You got to ask yourself, what are we doing? What are our elected officials doing to make sure that Illinois is becoming a safer and safer place? Under J.B. Pritzker, the governorship, the guy who stays in Chicago, you should know what's going on in Chicago. That's where he spends all of his time, other than Florida and the other free states. When you look at the state of Illinois and you see how crime is pervasive, and then you flip it at the script and you say, well, what are we going to do about it? You look around and what do our elected officials want to do? They want to make life easier for people who commit crimes in this state. And I have gotten so many messages from folks just like you on both sides of the river saying, what is this SAFETY Act? Is this legit? So I reached out to my friend, Illinois State Representative Blaine Wilhour. He is a member of the Illinois Freedom Caucus. You can follow him on Twitter and check out the Illinois Freedom Caucus. We need to push people into getting in touch with the Illinois Freedom Caucus and following what they're doing. Blaine, welcome back to the show. This issue is definitely one that has a lot of Illinois voters and people around the surrounding states very, very concerned.
Yeah, it absolutely does, Annie, and thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here. This is a really, really bad deal that they've got going here. We're basically prioritizing criminals over victims and potential victims here in this state, and I think that the Will County State's Attorney, who is a Democrat, Jim Glasgow, summed it up really well when he said that basically the police and judges will have their hands tied once this law takes effect. And here's how it actually works on the ground. He said in his county, which is in the collars up around Chicago, it's one of the bigger counties up here. He said that all 640 people currently being held in the Will County Jail will have their bonds extinguished after January 1st. And this includes 60 people charged with murder. He says he won't be able to hold anyone in jail for longer than 90 days if they demand a trial And after the 90th day, they'll get out no matter what crime they committed. Annie, this is real world, real life, the purge that is happening in the state of Illinois and is being brought to you by the radicals in the Democrat Party.
So we have a supermajority of Democrats in the Senate, in the Illinois State Senate. We have a supermajority of Democrats in the Illinois State House. And of course, we have J.B. Pritzker sitting at the top of this. Where did this idea come from, and who has been a leader in supporting it?
Yeah, this has been around for a little while. Here's the really, really bad part of it. When we did this 2 years ago in the legislature, we knew this was a bad deal because they were already doing it in New York. They're doing it in other places across the country. Even Bill de Blasio, the socialist Marxist mayor of New York City, said that, hey, guys, we got to go back to the drawing board and renegotiate this because it's not working. In New York, at the time that we passed this, robberies were up 33%. Assaults were up 10%. Burglaries were up 20%. Grand larceny up 24%. Grand larceny auto up 62%. These legislators, they knew all of this when they passed this, so they knew what they were doing. And Kim Foxx is already doing this in the city of Chicago. And just recently in Chicago, an accused murderer was out on this system on an ankle bracelet, and he literally killed the person that was an eyewitness against him on that murder charge. These are real world scenarios, and it's not just in Chicago. It's coming to the suburbs, and it's coming everywhere else. And you've got a George Soros prosecutor in St. Louis there too. So, coming soon to you. Thankfully, you have a legislature in Missouri that is not supermajority Democrat.
It's just unbelievable. Blaine Wilhour with us right now. He's the Illinois State Representative for the 107th District. He is a member of the Illinois Freedom Caucus. And folks, I say this to you all the time. You have to get involved. You need to know what's going on. I'd encourage you to connect with the Illinois Freedom Caucus to stay abreast of these issues. This is the image that I've gotten shared with me a whole bunch of times. WFCN News. It says, under this new law, after being charged with the crimes listed, those arrested would be released without bail pending a court date. So this begins January 1st, 2023. These are Illinois' non-detainable offenses. This is the image that's going around. Blaine, I'm going to ask you to tell me if any of this is wrong. These people will be non-detainable after January 1st in the state of Illinois. Aggravated battery, aggravated DUI, aggravated fleeing, arson, burglary, drug-induced homicide, intimidation, kidnapping, robbery, second-degree murder, and threatening a public official. These are all now going to be non-detainable offenses in the state of Illinois come January 1st, 2023.
That's absolutely correct. All of those are correct. It's disgusting. It's irresponsible. What are we doing here? I mean, it's time that we start holding some elected officials in this state accountable. J.B. Pritzker's not getting hit on this hard enough because people aren't paying enough attention to what's actually going on here. Do you think if people, in any part of the state, Democrat or Republican, actually knew all of this stuff, do you think that they'd support somebody like J.B. Pritzker? They literally done this legislation in California several years ago, but California actually has a recall provision on their ballot or a ballot referendum where the citizens can petition to put something on the ballot to overturn legislation. Even in California, they had to check against this. The citizens put it on the ballot. They rejected it and they revoked this crazy law in California. And here we are in Illinois after it's been a disaster everywhere else. We're still going forward for it because we put people at risk for political talking points all the time in this state.
CapitalNewsIllinois.com reports the broad-ranging measure abolishes cash bail beginning in January 2023, reforms police training, certification and use of force standards, expands detainee rights, and requires body cameras at all departments by 2025. Since its passage, the measure has been amended twice to accommodate concerns of law enforcement groups, pushing back certain effective dates and changing some of the initial use of force language. According to, I'm going to read here from the Illinois chair of the Illinois Legislative Black Caucus, Representative Buckner from Chicago, said there is no
Who's
such
running for mayor.
Okay, there we go. There is no such thing as perfect legislation, but I think all legislation can be perfected if it's handled the right way. And there's a suggestion that this legislation is going to be what restores some confidence between the breakdown of relationships between minority communities and law enforcement. This is the solution from this Democrat supermajority in the state of Illinois, focusing on reestablishing some of that confidence.
Yeah, so we're going to put violent criminals back out on the street because some people have a problem with the police. That's not a solution in this whatsoever. And this cash bail system is what really puts those criminals back out on the street, and they didn't do anything to renegotiate that. Now there are some things that we can do. There's some appropriate boundaries that could be set on bail that include judicial discretion in clearly defined instances. And the thing is, J.B. Pritzker and the legislature, they were warned not to do this by the Illinois Supreme Court Commission that specifically studied this. They said that it would be irresponsible to do this without being connected with other reforms, like what I was talking about there before. But they didn't listen. He didn't listen because they don't care. They rammed this through, and now everybody's got to pay the price for it. And this is going to continue to happen until we start winning elections in this state. This is the kind of stuff that you get when you go too long without a true opposition party in a state, where you get one party rule where everything goes and there's no checks to power, there's no balance on anything. That's got to end. And what we're doing with the Illinois Freedom Caucus, what Darren Bailey is doing, I can guarantee you get Darren Bailey in and Tom DeVore in as Attorney General, this stuff's going away.
Well, we are working right now on hopefully getting both Tom DeVore, candidate for Attorney General in the state of Illinois, and Darren Bailey, candidate for governor. I'm going to try to get them in studio together for about an hour as we move closer to the election, so that we can talk about these things and really have the conversations, take listener questions, and get to the bottom of why I keep saying Illinois doesn't have to be this way. Let me ask you this question about the Safety Act, because we're talking about establishing a better relationship between minority communities and law enforcement. Does the Safety Act make minority communities safer?
It clearly doesn't make them safer. Let's be honest. They're very, very unsafe today. I just read in Wire Points this morning that in a period of 17 hours in the past couple months, there was about 6 teenage and under kids shot in the city of Chicago. And this is before this even goes into effect. So things aren't safe right now. And instead of making that better, they're making it worse. I always say, if you want to stop the violence problem in Chicago and St. Louis and all these places, work on the opportunity problem. We drive so much opportunity out of this state with poor public policy. And when opportunity leaves, people leave, businesses leave. And this is the kind of stuff that you get.
It's unbelievable. Blaine Wilhour with us right now. When we look at the recidivism rate and we are taking our communities and we're trying to invoke some sort of security and safety, increase safety for the people who live in the communities, regardless of the economic situation. You shouldn't be less safe because your community doesn't have as much wealth in it. But that's what ends up happening. And then they put these things out there, and it's really for political points to try to make it look like, oh, yeah, we are defunding the police, or we are, right, investing in the idea that Black Lives Matter. I mean, if Black Lives Matter, make these minority communities safer.
That's exactly right. Bring opportunity to those areas. The inner city areas and the poor rural areas in this country have a lot in common. And it all comes back to the public policy that benefits the corporations and the special interest at the detriment of opportunity, at the detriment of wages for these people. We need to work on those problems. Stop doing these ridiculous policies that get you a press bump because you want to run for president, and start dealing with the real problems in this state. This state's a great state. It's got everything that we need. We're just burdened with poor public policy from ridiculous politicians, and that's got to end.
Yeah, we're speaking with Blaine Wilhour. Last question before I let you go. You've served in the House with Darren Bailey, who's now a state senator, and you've worked with a lot of these people who are running across the state on the Republican side of the ticket, the election being 61 days away. And, I know that in some cases, some of these elections might be a long shot. And I know that people don't have their eyes squarely on the very, very blue state of Illinois. I watched New Jersey almost go red for the governor in that special election. And I think in November, we have the best chance that we've had in a long time to make a drastic change. I just want to know from somebody who knows these people personally, Blaine, if Illinois were to say, you know what, we've tried this, it's not working, let's try something else. For people who are voters in the state of Illinois right now, who may not be Republican voters, but they know the current system is not working, what happens if these Republicans like Darren Bailey, like Tom DeVore, like Jen Cordy in the Illinois State House, and Ashley Hunsaker and Kevin Schmidt down here, some Republican opportunities for pickup in the House? What happens if they get in?
You're going to see policy that's geared towards the actual people of this state. Every policy that passes in this state is geared towards the special interests, the big corporate conglomerates, all of those. It's driven away opportunity. We're going to bring opportunity back into this state. People are going to invest in this state because, like I said before, we got everything that we need. And it's not going to change. Everything's not going to change overnight, but the climate will change overnight. You know, if we fix some things, if we get at least in the middle of the pack on some of this stuff, our natural advantages are gonna carry us through. Illinois was a great state at one time, and it should be again. And it just needs good leadership to come in there and demand this stuff. And that's what we're doing, because the people are waking up in this state. We have an opportunity. It's a blue state, but it's not San Francisco. Okay, this is San Francisco stuff that we're doing here. Hasn't worked there. It's not going to work here.
Blaine Wilhour, before we let you go, what's the best thing if someone's listening right now and they want to know more about the Safety Act and what they can do to stop it? How do they get involved?
Yeah, just follow us on social media. There's a lot of stuff out there. We're going to be putting a lot of stuff out there. The Bailey campaign is putting a lot of stuff out there as well. Just, get involved, go vote. That's the biggest thing. And get 10 of your friends to go vote. Take that graphic that you had there, show it to people, share it on your social media. When people see that, they won't even, it's so ridiculous, they won't believe it. We've got to believe it, and we've got to push this thing through. Like you said earlier, we've got an opportunity.
Well, we have to seize it. We can't let it pass us by. Blaine Wilhour, thank you so much for the time today. We're grateful for it.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you soon. Illinois State Representative for the 107th District. He's a member of the Illinois Freedom Caucus. Get connected with them as well. We're going to take a quick break. A little update when we come back on, I guess we're going to talk a little bit about the order of succession for United Kingdom as the breaking news this afternoon that Queen Elizabeth has passed at 96 years of age, an amazing historical life lived. Charles has now been made king, and he has to go by King Charles III. And we'll talk a little bit about the ins and outs later on in the show here of the line of succession. We were talking off air about, so does this mean such and such is going to be a queen? And what happens if they're a king? And what happens if they're married? And we've got some details on that. We'll report on that when we come back. And vote on the YouTube live chat poll. Do you truly believe civil war is possible in the United States in your lifetime? Yes or no? Annie Frey YouTube channel. Go vote.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show. The Mark Reardon Show.
Nathan Canine. The political operatives of the teachers union fought tooth and nail so that they could secure a massive allotment of federal money, which is essentially was a ransom payment. The hostages were our kids.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Air Comfort Service online at aircomfortservice.com. Reach out to them and talk to them about your HVAC system that might not be running correctly. You've noticed that on the hot days, it's just really not pushing the cold air like it should be. And with energy prices being as high as they are, you need to make sure that thing's in good working order. If you are thinking about your furnace and maybe last winter you were trying to eke it out and get through all of the cold days, make sure that you reach out to Air Comfort Service and have them come out and do that furnace tune-up for you. You do that daily, or that regular maintenance, I should say, on your HVAC system, and you can really help avoid some of those costly repairs that can find their way at the most inopportune times. They have a ton of accolades that you can read research for yourself. If you're like me and you like to see some more reviews, you can find them online. They're very, very well recognized and lauded in the customer review department. And they have many other accolades like a BBB Torch Award in 2020, a Carrier's prestigious President's Award, among others. 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
Hi, this is Jessica Munganess. Stop by Dave Munganess St. Louis Honda to reserve your new 2022 Honda and never pay a cent over sticker. We also have a great selection of Honda True used vehicles available on South Lindbergh that come with a comprehensive warranty and even have a 3-day exchange policy if you're not completely satisfied. It's the very best way to buy a pre-owned vehicle. So isn't it time you see the Munganess difference at Dave Munganess St. Louis Honda and our pre-owned centers? DaveMunganess.com since 1965.
If your business has accounting problems, you probably have tax problems. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm in St. Louis. Running a small business is tough, and it's no surprise that companies that don't keep good books often run into tax issues. If you don't fix your accounting problems, you could be doomed to land in the same tax pitfalls every year. Call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. I can help you get out of tax trouble and stay out. If your small business doesn't have a CPA or accountant, I can help you find one. And if you already have one, I work closely with them to resolve your tax problems quickly. Make no mistake, if the numbers don't add up, the IRS will catch it. Fix your accounting and tax problems before they snowball with help from the Lance Drury Law Firm. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. Call attorney Lance Drury, 314-260-6120, or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Mark Cox Morning Show.
Hello, this is Chad Clayman with ClaymanGroup.com, KLAMEN Group.com, 314-946-9999. We also are real estate agents, and a lot of times when people call, they want options, retail or wholesale directly to me. But we are listing property as real estate agents. So if you want to sell your house and you're not sure which route you want to go, we can provide you an option when you're selling. Clayman Group is where you can go. 314-946-9999. Call today so we can talk about options.
Summertime is no time to run out of energy, guys, and Victory Men's Health can help. Mark Cox here. Book your appointment today at any of their 3 locations. They're now in Wing Haven in O'Fallon, Missouri. They're in Town and Country in the original location in O'Fallon, Illinois. Victory Men's Health has 400 plus 5-star Google reviews. There isn't another men's clinic in town that comes close to that kind of rating. Book your appointment today online at victorymenshealth.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
Bringing you up-to-the-minute traffic like nobody else. Sue Thomas and dependable traffic, driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company. The best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor. You're listening to the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Feeling like a bullet, jumping at a gun. I'm feeling like a winner. I feel like the one. You're doing something to me. You're doing something strange. Well, jump back, talk to me, woman. You make me wanna make a baby.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. I'm going to out Hannah. She came in and she goes, "Is that all true?" It's like, well, Hannah, yeah, it's true. No, we just made all that up. The Safety Act in the state of Illinois. You've got to be kidding me. And I have gotten so much. I'm going to be honest with you. Just like you've thought when you've seen this, you look at it and you go, just like Hannah said, that can't be right. That can't be real. So I've seen this and I've been looking at it and I've been going, if I see it when I'm scrolling through, like watching my son's baseball game or something, I can't like immediately go do something about it. And I'm okay, I'll set that aside and I'll get back to it. And it's so crazy that it's hard to believe. I'm reading from this Capital News, Illinois.com article, What's in the Safety Act, a look at the 2021 criminal justice reform and how it has evolved. Cash bail, one of the more controversial provisions of the bill, abolishes cash bail in Illinois and replaces it with a system that will prioritize the severity of an offense, the risk of not appearing for court, and the threat and danger the individual poses to another person or the community if they were to be released. In an interview, Justin Slaughter, a representative, the Chicago Democrat who carried the Safety Act in 2021, in April, he accused Republicans of a bad stench of racism in their opposition to the reform. So if you're not for this, guess what that makes you? Altogether now, racist.
Well, hold on. Can you read that list out again of people that are of crimes? Do you have that handy?
Aggravated battery, aggravated DUI, aggravated fleeing, arson, burglary, drug-induced homicide, intimidation, kidnapping, robbery, threatening a public official, and second-degree murder.
So if I don't want somebody on the streets who does these things, what you're saying is these are primarily black people that are doing this, and that makes it racist, that I don't want them on the streets? Is that the Democratic stance here?
Personally, I don't care what your color or shape or size is on this.
I don't want murders on the street.
But the implication that if you're opposed to this, that you're somehow opposed to black people is a racist allegation in and of itself. Anyway, in an interview, he said the current system of cash bail has a, quote, adverse impact on those that don't have the money. And eliminating cash bail will make it more difficult for violent offenders to be released compared to lower level nonviolent offenders. Second degree murder, kind of violent, I don't know. If this, quote, if this is a violent, dangerous offense, we certainly want to hold offenders accountable, but at the same time, we want to have an understanding of the root causes of crime and violence. I don't know about you folks, but I don't care as much about the root cause of a specific crime if it prioritizes the criminal over the victim. Because if there is a crime, there is, in essence, a victim. Are there victimless crimes? Probably, I would say no, because the victim in some cases just might be also the criminal.
Mm-hmm.
But, okay, let's go through these and talk about victimless crimes. Aggravated battery, no. Aggravated DUI, if there is no other victim in there, there certainly could be, and the action in and of itself is posing a threat to the public.
Right, but like if it's aggravated, don't you have to hurt somebody for it to be aggravated? DUI?
I don't know if you have to hurt somebody or something.
Okay.
I don't know. Aggravated fleeing, arson, burglary, drug-induced homicide, intimidation, kidnapping, robbery, threatening a public official, and second-degree murder. Republicans and some states' attorneys have lately been arguing the opposite may be true to Slaughter's statement where he said if this is a violent, dangerous offense, we certainly want to hold offenders accountable. James Glasgow, who we just heard Illinois State Representative Blaine and Wilhour, who was on with us talking about the legitimacy of this and how it's going to into effect January 1st of 2023. James Glasgow, a Democratic Will County State's attorney, said that the Safety Act requires a higher burden of proof to detain accused violent criminals until trial. The Safety Act states that all defendants, quote, shall be presumed eligible, end quote, for pretrial release unless prosecutors present, quote, clear and convincing, end quote, evidence to deny the suspect pretrial release, such as proof that the suspect committed the crime and poses a threat to the physical safety of a, quote, specific identifiable person. So the burden of proof on these specific instances, you are presumed eligible for this immediately after a crime is committed. I mean, you'd have to be obviously arrested for committing, and you know, does this involve other crimes? Like if this is for a non-violent crime that really doesn't really involve other people, that's not what we're talking about here. But this act does include these things where other people are involved and where they are violent. Glasgow said it's nearly impossible to provide evidence needed within 48 hours since it takes time to review body and surveillance cameras and crime labs take time to process evidence. Quote, I'm not against no bail for non-violent crimes, Glasgow said, but when it's protecting the health, safety, and welfare of the law-abiding citizens, we have to be able to do that. Senator John Curran is a Republican from Downers Grove, and a former prosecutor said that instead of eliminating cash bail altogether in Illinois, he would prefer a model similar to one in place in New Jersey, which permits cash bail in narrow circumstances. Kern said such a system would ensure that individuals who are threats to the safety of communities are being held. So there's a whole list of things that the Safety Act implements. It is in regards to how we handle those who we have arrested. It also involves how we deal with police training. From this article, says the broad-ranging measure abolishes cash bail beginning January 2023, reforms police training, certification, and use of force standards, expands detainee rights, and requires body cameras at all departments by 2025. If you want to make sure this crap doesn't continue to plague the state of Illinois, then you have to get rid of the Democrats who are plaguing the state of Illinois. You have to step in this moment in time. You have 61 days to get off of your butt and go get somebody else who has never voted before in a midterm election, or who has never stepped into the fray and dipped their toe into state politics because A, it's boring, or B, it doesn't seem like it affects you, or C, you don't know anything about it. You have to be the connection between this moment in time, right now, where this Safety Act is happening on January 1st of 2023, you have to be part of the solution to go get people to understand exactly what is at stake on Election Day in the state of Illinois. Is it a long shot? We got a shot. We've got a great shot in Illinois, and it takes you. Go get involved now. Back in a minute. Don't go away.
Dak Prescott here. Why do I choose proven quality sleep from Sleep Number? Because better sleep elevates my game. Only my Sleep Number 360 smart bed helps me fall asleep faster, keeps me cool, and effortlessly adjusts for my best sleep. The result? 28 minutes more restful sleep a night. That's more focus, more edge, and more highlights. And that means more wins for all of us.
Don't miss the final days of the biggest sale of the year. Save 50% on the Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed. Ends Monday. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the NFL.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
This is Wiggins. I know you're playing whack-a-mole with your schedule, trying to figure out all the things you got to get done all the time. So put this one off. Put it down the line, and so you don't have to think about it when it happens. Make an appointment with Fountains Family Dentistry right now. They can get you in multiple times. I always say they're open early some days, they're open late some days. That's for your convenience of your schedule. But they do everything, whether it be just that you need to get your teeth cleaned. It's been 6 months, it's been a year, or it's been longer because of COVID. A lot of people skip that, all the dental stuff throughout COVID, and you're right now going, oh man, it's actually been a couple of years. They also do general dentistry, cosmetic dentistry, dental implants, dentures, anything you need along the lines of root canals, or what I always talk about, those sleep apnea retainers. Man, those are great, and those have changed my life. You can find out all of that information at fountainsfamilydentistry.com. That's also where you can give them a call. They're in Fairview Heights, Illinois. Easy to get to, especially if you're in Illinois, but even if you're in Missouri, right off of Highway 64, fountainsfamilydentistry.com.
Back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet Store. Do you want to walk and stay healthy, but cannot because you are in pain?
I just had difficulty walking. I could not walk in bare feet at all.
Do you keep buying new shoes and inserts from the drugstore with little or no relief?
I tried all kinds of shoes. It was the arch supports that made the difference from the Good Feet Store.
The Good Feet system fits in all your shoes, so come to the Good Feet Store and become pain-free today.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Catty Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Dearborn's.
Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet store.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is a Fox News alert. Farewell to the Queen. I'm Lisa Brady. The royal family says Britain's Queen Elizabeth has died peacefully today at her estate in Scotland. She was 96.
Queen Elizabeth II came to the throne in 1952, aged just 25, beginning a reign that would last decades. She was Britain's head of state through the swinging 60s, the Cold War, the War on Terror, and everything in between.
I declare before you all that my whole life, whether it be long or short, shall be devoted to your service.
As her role became largely ceremonial, Elizabeth faced down suggestions the monarchy had become obsolete.
Fox's Simon Owen. Her death comes just 2 days after her last public appearance, a meeting with new Prime Minister Liz Truss, who spoke a short time ago.
Britain is the great country it is today because of her.
Truss calls the Queen the rock upon which modern Britain was built.
Today, the crown passes, as it has done for more than 1,000 years, to our new monarch, our new head of state, His Majesty, King Charles III.
The palace just releasing a written statement from the king, calling it a moment of the greatest sadness for the family, mourning profoundly the passing of a cherished sovereign and much-loved mother. President Biden says the Queen was a steadying presence, a source of comfort and pride for generations of Britons. Former presidents Trump, Obama, and Clinton also paying tribute to her life and legacy.
The flag above the U.S. Capitol is flying at half-staff as a mark of respect for Queen Elizabeth. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says the Queen was a pillar of leadership in the global arena for her 7 decades on the throne and shepherded the United Kingdom through great turbulence and transition.
Fox's Jared Halper and the Eiffel Tower will go dark tonight in her honor. America is listening to Fox News.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Tired of companies like Google and Facebook watching everything you do online? There's actually a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with a push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
All about sunshine on this Thursday afternoon. Nice humidity levels. We should top out with a high of 83 degrees. Tonight, clear skies, upper 70s for evening plans, 59 for the low. Friday, sunny and 85. No concerns for the Friday night football games. Saturday, partly sunny, couple of showers, but very limited, 82. Real good chance of rain by Sunday afternoon. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Mark Cox Morning Show.
Missouri Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft, I've got him on the line.
The idea that because people disagree with you, they are somehow evil, and the idea that the President of the United States would be telling half the country or more that they are terrible, vile people is abhorrent.
Mark Cox.
Well, the media picked up on it and carried his talking points forward and suggested that if you support Trump, you support the violent overthrow of the United States government.
97.1 FM Talk.
This is a great time of the year to upgrade the energy efficiency in your home with my friends at Window World. Mark Cox here to tell you more about my experience with Window World. They replaced a couple of windows at my house. They were just panes of glass. We wanted to be able to get some airflow into the master bathroom. They came out, they gave us a free estimate, and then had the windows at seams installed in no time. Very professional, lifetime warranty I get, and you get an extra double strength glass on their replacement windows that's not common. So you're getting a great price, simply the best for less. They do front entry doors, rear entry doors if you're looking to replace that back door or sliding glass door in your home. They've got a great selection at Window World. They're also right now offering 18 months, same as cash financing, of course, with approved credit. The preferred window of the St. Louis Blues. 314-993-1800, windowworld.com.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know.
Bet you didn't know that your car's transmission is made up of 800 pieces. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's fixed over 40 million transmissions, and that AMCO offers a nationwide warranty.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
That's AMCO, AAMCO.
Securing a retirement is something you've been working a long time for. If you're in your mid-50s or maybe in your early 60s, you want to make sure that that shift between the accumulation of assets, where you are working hard to set money aside, you are making sacrifices to make sure your retirement is going to be exactly the way you want it. You get to the point where you're like, okay, I need to make sure that I can live off of this and do so with the retirement that I've always dreamt of. Thomas Helbig, that's where he comes in. The Retirement Advisory Group will set you up with a free consultation to sit down and discuss where you are, what you saved, and most importantly, how to protect it when you shift into that time where you are working to make sure that you don't have some major economical event that takes place and sets you back and adds years to the time that you have to work. Thomas Helbig will tell you he wants to provide you that worry-free retirement. That is an amazing asset to have, and it helps you work the last few years of your life in a way that is going to make you feel confident going forward. Reach out to Thomas Helbig by calling 314-993-9494, retirementkey.com.
When it comes to hiring, you don't need to be doing all the searching, screening, and interviewing yourself. What you need is Indeed, the end-to-end solution that makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire quality candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Hey, natural gas leaks can be very dangerous if you're not careful. If you smell the odor of natural gas, leave it to the professionals to track it down. Warn others and leave the building immediately. Make sure you call your gas company from another location.
A tip from your friends at Mango.
Mark Cox.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brian Kilmeade.
How about this?
Annie Frey.
Wow, we really got to change course.
Mark Reardon.
Coming together.
Dana Lash.
I mean, it's 2022.
Listen on the Odyssey app and rewind whenever you'd like.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. You guys think there's any possibility Donald Trump ends up in jail?
Yeah, I do think there's a possibility.
Really?
I don't think there's a likelihood, but there's certainly a possibility.
Who's the most likely to go to jail in our lifetime? Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, or Hunter Biden?
In our lifetime, Hunter Biden.
That could be a really, really good show.
Yeah, no, you got to go with Hunter.
It's just more time.
There's so much out there, and yeah, we've got enough time for administration to change because it ain't gonna happen under this one. I don't know. I could see Trump getting
Donald Trump going to jail.
Yeah, I could see it.
Oh
I could see them going all the way in on that.
I think it's highly unlikely. Again, always a possibility, but highly unlikely because I just don't think the country would hold together for that. I think it would come off. There's no way you could. Unless the evidence was just so overwhelming, I just don't see how they can do it and not have it be political.
The Annie Frey Show YouTube channel live chat poll today is: do you truly believe civil war is possible in the United States in your lifetime? Yes or no? Go cast your vote there. Leave us a comment as to why you think yes or you think no. Hannah's watching them and will update us on the results and your thoughts at 2:45. So stick around for that. Are there people who are in charge, who are elected in government right now, representing the American people in our democratic republic government, who want to see that level of unrest.
Ooh.
Elected? Yeah, I think they
yeah.
love their position too much. I don't think that because that would be scary for them.
I don't think they want to rule over ashes. And I also don't think that I think that they're smart enough to see what happens whenever a country descends into a horrible civil war, what happens to elected leaders.
I think it's such an ignorant, naive way to go about leading in our country for the Democrats to push socialism so casually and to be like actively embracing the word socialism. I remember when that first started coming out, like being referred to as a democratic socialist. I remember in the 2016 election, it might have even been in 2015, where, the question was posed to Hillary Clinton about democratic socialism and asking, is there a difference between the two? And she wouldn't, of course, answer the question. But we have casual democratic socialists in elected government right now. And the idea that democratic socialism could be implemented in our government in any way, shape, or form where it wouldn't be seen as tyrannical blows my mind. So that means, can Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I know what your immediate reaction, folks, is going to be. So just, you can get it out of your system if you need to be, if you need to get it out. But then think about it for a second, which is the equivalent of me saying, let that sink in, which is the worst phrase in the history of time. Is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez that stupid to think that her idea of socialism and the implementation of what she knows would have to be put into place that would completely undermine the United States of America and the foundation it's been built on? Does she actually think that is a workable solution for a country going forward? Brad?
I think Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is a true believer. I think
so. She's that stupid.
Yeah, she's that sycophantic.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's that hard into and that much in on that ideology that.
What about
she would
Bernie?
do it. No, I think Bernie's a fraud.
I think at one time he was legit. I think he's bought into the system now and bought his houses, bought his cars, and now he's old and he's thinking, hey, I'm going to ride this out.
Like I say this all the time, and it's important to remember that their version of socialism is only sold to the American people by shaking your fist at the sky and taking it to the man. They need the American people to understand that they are on the side of the capital P people, that they are a man or a woman of the people, and that they want to take it to the man by becoming the man. If you want to talk about big corporate America and how, there's all these people at the top who are super wealthy and they're making all this money off of all the little people at the bottom who are working enslaved lives and having to put forth, 40, 60, 80-hour work weeks in order to make these people at the top so wealthy. Socialism is the same gosh darn thing. The man is just the government. It's not the corporate structure. So coming in and saying that there is an inequity between corporate America and the bazillionaires at the top and the little people who make those people money, identifying that discrepancy, I think there's some value to that. What I don't understand is people who will say, how we solve this? Big government. It doesn't work that way.
No, that's a terrible. And you know what? To your point, the thing that most of these socialists rail against isn't capitalism. They're like, well, people should be able to own their own means of production. Well, yeah, you can do that under capitalism. What they're railing against is cronyism, where the government picks winners and losers and where the people in power pull the levers to make it easier for people who are not in power to gain more control economically, and then money changes hand behind the scenes. That's cronyism. That's the problem. That's what they're railing against. I'm against that as well. I'm just more of, let's let everybody openly compete and may the best man or woman win.
Art on YouTube says there is progressive, then there is socialist. Progressive is trying to provide affordable health care. Socialist is trying to seize the means of production. Maybe you make a good point there, but provide affordable health care. You can provide affordable health care by making people compete at a greater level within the market. Providing affordable health care by making the American people pay for it through the government is not providing affordable health care outside of the means of production.
It's seizing the means of production.
In order to provide affordable health care.
Yes.
See, if you want to make health insurance, this is exactly the same thing as education. If you want to make healthcare more affordable for people, stop subsidizing every single bit of it and expose the cost of the whole process so people can understand why things cost the way they do. And if it's obvious that these places are charging exorbitant amounts, especially when you add in the idea that if you put the insurance company in the middle of it, and you know that you can charge something because the insurance company will just pay a portion of it, they charge more because the insurance is there to make that payment. And when you have a government, what the Affordable Health Care Act did is it guaranteed insurance companies every customer that was out there. It didn't do anything for the customers. It benefited the insurance companies. Imagine selling any product and having somebody come in and say, I guarantee you that everybody out there will purchase your product. And if they don't purchase it, we are going to penalize them for it. We're going to penalize them enough so that they'll cave and they'll come and purchase your product. If you have guaranteed consumers of a product, what incentive do you have to make it A, more affordable, or B, more desirable? You have none. Education is the same exact thing. You have the government coming in and saying, we're going to subsidize all of these loans for people. We don't care if they're qualified for them. We don't care if they understand how they're going to have to pay them back. News alert, they're not going to have to pay them back. We don't care if they're going to be qualified for the 4-year commitment, the 2-year commitment, the 8-year commitment that they're going to have to go through to get the job that's going to make them pay them back. We don't care about that. Why? Because we need those kids to be in the classrooms with the teachers who we are working hard to secure their existence through the unions, through well-funded educational investments with the back scratching that goes along with the government. And then we're going to subsidize all of these kids who are going to go to school. They're going to sign loan papers when they're 18. We're going to put them through your institutions. You can teach them whatever you want while they're there. And when they come out, they'll owe us this money, but you will always continue to have these kids in your classrooms. That's the guarantee, that your classrooms will be full. And what happens when the process ends up shaking out at the end and people can't afford to pay these things back, we'll just cover their costs for them. We'll get their votes and we'll just go through the process again. As long as you have the government stepping in and saying in a repeated fashion, oh, we'll cover it. We got that. We'll make that happen. And you do it with the taxpayer's dollar, then there's absolutely no reason for the product to be improved or for the companies or the institutions providing the service or the product to compete for your business. They don't have to compete. It's guaranteed. I look at these people in government right now in the casual way with which we use the word socialist. And that's changed in my lifetime, not just in my lifetime, but in the amount of time that I've been paying attention to these things. The word socialism in my lifetime was still a naughty word. Now it's an asset. It's an accessory. And it's really quite something.
The people who would call themselves true believers of socialism, though, and AOC is right on the verge because she's sold out a little bit just by being a politician, I think, in their eyes. But the people who are really, really into pure socialism, they would say that all the things that we're talking about, they don't apply because that's not really socialism. That's a corruption of socialism. Anytime socialism has been tried, it's always been corrupted by the people at the top taking power. And it's so funny to hear them say that, as if they think we can do it differently than that. They think at some point we're going to agree, as if this nation is completely in agreement right now. Like that they could step in and go, yeah, but we can do it this way, like a commune where we'd all agree together on these, like a communist approach, so to speak.
Well, and the thing about that is like, even if they could, the sheer arrogance to think that there isn't somebody waiting right behind them to stab them in the back, to take them out, then step into their role and then have absolute power and absolute control over everything is just absolutely insane.
This is an interesting clip here. This is from Donnie Deutsch. This is from November 13th, 2020. So think this is like right after the election.
So this country lives just right of center. Actually, interesting enough, Joe, your politics is very much where most of the country is. I would describe you as just right of center. That's where these elections are. And even with all the changing demographics, we are still, I believe, 20 to 30 years away from where messages that have more of a what I'll call socialistic overtone would have any resonance. And we're a century away from when defunding the police makes sense. That's just idiotic. It's moronic. And any Democrat that doesn't understand that is a moron, actually.
And the idea that socialism is actually like something that is setting in with people, with parties that are coming, or with a political party that is coming out of an indoctrinated, educated space and is listening to how these individuals are speaking on the public stage openly and comfortably about socialism. I mean, it's frightening. This is from the summer of 2020.
Yeah, too many uniformed police in New York City. And furthermore, when we talk about defunding the NYPD, the other part of that is to fully fund social services. I can tell you on the encampment, it's obvious. We have some of the most vulnerable members of our community coming out to have their voices heard and participate in this encampment. And it's clear that what they're saying they need is services, mental health services, social services, adequate housing, affordable healthcare, the quality education. These are the things that the community is crying out for. And so it's not good enough to move money around and fancy accounting tricks. It's not good enough to just defund the NYPD even. We have to meet that with services that are fully funded as well.
You hear these people and they talk about the expansion of government and how important it is, necessary, and how humane it is to make sure that all of these things are provided. And what they never talk about, whether they don't understand it or they don't know it or they're hiding it, all of the things that are being provided have to be paid for. And in order for things to be paid for, you still have to work, but you don't get to enjoy the fruits of your labor. You have to surrender it to the government, who is going to choose what to provide you with and the quality with which you will be satisfied. It's a government means of production, just like was pointed out by Art on our YouTube channel. And many of these different programs absolutely rely on that. Even though it might not be the first thing that comes out, it's definitely the process that these people are asking us to just surrender our freedom for the provision of government security. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot of things that the government is supposed to be providing us security with right now, and they ain't doing their job. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the succession of the royal family. What happens next? Charles has become the king. He will be referred to as King Charles III. How does this whole thing work out? We're going to talk about that when we come back. We're going to discuss the monarchy and what it means to us, or what our reactions to it in just a minute. Go vote in the Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll. Do you truly believe civil war is possible in the United States in your lifetime? Yes or no? We'll be right back.
See the line where the sky meets the sea. It calls me, and no one knows.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
My sail on the sea stays behind me. One day I'll know. If I go, there's just no telling how far I'll go.
If you're a fan of 97.1, get a t-shirt. Visit 971talk.com/merch to see all the new t-shirt designs and show your support for St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
If you are looking to buy or sell a home on the Illinois side of the river, please contact my friend Jen Teskey with RE/MAX Alliance, the best in the business. She knows the market. She is an expert on making sure you are positioned for the best sale. And looking for a house right now, she can find you what you're looking for. Reach out to Jen Teskey by calling her or texting her at 618-541-1010. That's 618-541-1010. With RE/MAX Alliance, Jen Teskey has been in the business and in the area for over 15 years, helping families exactly like yours buy and sell homes. She is also working to make sure that people aren't overpaying on their property taxes. You can contact Jen Teskey in the Illinois side of the river, on the Illinois side of the river, to discuss your property taxes and potentially getting them lowered as well. She'll tell you how to go through the process. 618-541-1010. That's 618-541-1010. She has a certification in divorce real estate. She's especially trained to assist attorneys and divorce clients as they navigate the challenges on selling a home during a divorce. She is trusted with this extra certification that she's earned. She can help you in your process of buying or selling a home in this circumstance or any other. 618-541-1010. That's 618-541-1010.
Okay, Jimmy, I want to read you a quote. This is a pitcher, Steve Klein, after a rookie hit a home run off him and then flipped his bat. Steve Klein said, end quote, "That's little league."
I got every stitch of that ball.
Hey everyone, I'm Ron Darling.
And I'm Jimmy Rollins. Check out Unwritten, Odyssey and Major League Baseball. New episodes start May 18th and drop every week throughout the Major League season. Find it on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Did you know the Missouri State Treasurer's Office holds over $1 billion of unclaimed property? That's billion with a B. Things like utility deposits or uncashed checks and other money you didn't know was missing. This is Missouri State Treasurer Scott Fitzpatrick. My office wants to return this money to rightful owners, and the average claim is $300. Search your name online 24/7 at showmemoney.com. Claiming your money is always free, so search today at showmemoney.com.
On Thursday, September 15th, the Cardinals host the Reds. That night, the Birds will have the luck of the Irish on their side when Halfway to St. Patrick's Day returns to Busch Stadium. With the purchase of a special themed ticket, fans will receive a one-of-a-kind Cardinals flannel shirt. This blue and green long-sleeve button-down shirt sports the STL logo inside a four-leaf clover. That's Thursday, September 15th, halfway to St. Patrick's Day at the ballpark. For tickets or more information, visit cardinals.com/theme.
Let's go Blues. On Friday, September 16th, the Cardinals host the Reds, and that night, 25,000 fans, 16 and older, will take home a Cardinals hockey sweater, courtesy of Valley Sports Midwest. Now you can look like the pros on the ice and on the field. That's Friday, September 16th. Celebrate the kickoff to hockey season at the ballpark. For tickets or more information, visit cardinals.com/promotions.
Is your retirement income at risk if you or your spouse needs nursing home or in-home care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money, Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. The cost of long-term care is one of the biggest risks in retirement planning. For many retirees, a single nursing home stay can cause a significant reduction in assets that can permanently reduce your retirement income. Fortunately, there are affordable and flexible options available today that can help you manage the cost of long-term care. Our team can help you address the risks relevant to your retirement, including long-term care. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
If you wanna roll me, then you gotta roll me all night long. And if you wanna use me, then you gotta use me till I'm gone.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. You know, I'm going to kind of shift gears a little bit here. We were going to talk about the monarchy. Queen Elizabeth passed away today at 96 years old. Charles has now become king. He is to be referred to as King Charles III. I see a lot of people being like, kings, they're the worst. It's not really like a king. I mean, this isn't like the king that we were like, peace out. We're not doing what you say anymore. It's a little bit different than that. But I was going to talk about the line of succession. But it occurred to me, Brad, I know you and I were messaging last night about the Memphis story.
Mm-hmm.
That's not, it's like, it's nowhere.
Yeah.
If you don't know what took place in Memphis last night, then I understand why, because nobody's covering it right now because it's wall-to-wall Queen Elizabeth stuff. No disrespect to her. It's absolutely a huge story.
Right.
A changing of the royalty in London. But yesterday, there was a teenager on a rampage in Memphis, crossed over into Arkansas, live streaming, shooting people. I think the last I saw was 5 deaths, 9 injured. I don't know what the numbers are right now. Holy cow. If I were in Memphis right now, and this is what took place yesterday, and nobody was talking about it, I would be disgusted. I looked, it's like 10 stories down on Fox News' website. Memphis shooting, teen accused of killing 4, injuring 3 others in rampage, streamed on Facebook. And that is from September 8th. That's today at 1:43 Eastern. So that's the last update on this story. Police in Tennessee said 19-year-old Ezekiel Kelly is suspected of shooting and killing 4 people in Memphis. Wednesday afternoon, the suspect, Ezekiel Kelly, is also accused of 2 armed carjackings and that happened as he attempted to flee from police. Authorities said the rampage was spread across at least 8 different crime scenes. The string of shootings were reportedly live streamed on Facebook in the city Wednesday. Suspect was taken into custody following a major manhunt. Later that evening, police confirmed to Fox News Digital that Kelly was arrested after crashing a stolen car near the area of Ivan Road and Hodge Road. Police said multiple felony charges are pending against Kelly, who has a previous criminal history. Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland revealed during a press conference that Kelly was charged with attempted first-degree murder, but pled guilty to a downgraded aggravated assault charge in April of 2021. Kelly was sentenced to 3 years in prison, but was released in March of 2022. March of 2022. It's September. April, May, June, July, August, September. That's how far we are away from him being released. Released in March 2022 after serving just 11 months of his sentence. The shooting rampage comes less than 6 months after Kelly was allowed back on the streets of Memphis. This is outrageous. If you missed it, at 1:25, we spoke with Illinois State Representative Blaine Wilhour about something that I've heard from many of you about, the Illinois Safety Act, which is a sweeping reform bill that was passed by the supermajority of Democrats in the House, the Senate, and signed by Governor Pritzker to basically work very hard to make Illinois a sanctuary state for criminals. That's the direction we're heading in. So before we go talk about the line of succession for the throne, I mean, Brad, your thoughts when you were watching this on Twitter last night?
It's evil. It was pure evil. I got a chance to see. I say I got a chance. I came across the video of a clip from the live stream of what he did. So it's important to note that this guy he didn't go into a crowd of people and just shoot a bunch of people. He was going to random places at random times.
An AutoZone.
And yeah, he kicks the door open of an AutoZone saying, "I'm a real one," just points his gun at somebody, shoots him dead, and then runs back out saying, "I'm a real one. Y'all thought I was playing." And he's laughing about it. And they're like
sick.
And the other side of it is too, as I'm watching this clip from the stream, you know, when you watch a video on YouTube, how when people like it, the little hearts go up. Hearts are flying up on this video. People are liking this video. They're, I'm like,
gross.
Exactly. If you think evil doesn't exist, your head is in the ground. Get your head out of the ground and pay attention. There's no explanation for this. When the police arrested him, there's a picture of him getting in the car and he's looking at the camera, smiling real big. His mugshot, he's smiling real big. There's zero remorse. There's nothing about this. This guy is evil.
Did you see all this taking place last night?
I saw it in clips and I wondered kind of the same thing as you set it up with. Why am I not seeing more about this? Because it was here and there. I'm seeing little bits. Why can't I find more about this? It really didn't crack through as a major. It was a pretty big deal. So no, yes and no.
The entire Above the Fold on CNN is Queen Elizabeth. And again, this isn't about Queen Elizabeth. Like, this is not to begrudge the interest in a story that absolutely has historical relevance. But as I scroll down on CNN, here are the stories. Let's just go over some of the headlines I see before I see anything that has to do with a mass shooting in Memphis from a man who doesn't fit the story of a mass shooting that tends to get covered the way others have been covered before. Top stories that aren't about the Queen. Steve Bannon indicted on state charges of money laundering, conspiracy, and fraud. Analysis, why John Fetterman just made a very smart move on debates. Misogynistic influencers are trending right now. Diffusing their message is a complex task. Next one, Donald Trump's biggest 2024 problem isn't what you think it is. You going to give us a new problem? Okay. What should the updated coronavirus vaccine booster now, or who should get the updated coronavirus vaccine booster now, and who should wait? People dressed in angel wings shielded LGBTQ students at BYU from protesters. 1/3 of Pakistan is underwater. CNN reporter reveals what it's like there. Russia will pay a heavy price for war in Ukraine, CIA director says. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken makes an unannounced trip to Ukraine. As Ukraine pushes a southern offensive, it also hits Russia in the northeast. European Central Bank sets record rate hike to fight energy price shock. Revealed how Russia's security service preys on young activists to turn them into informants. Those are some freaking headlines. That is not the world that we're living in right now. We'll keep going. This is all before this Memphis shooter. Ricky Martin sues his nephew for extortion. Kellogg's wants you to add water to its new cereal. Bear breaks into home, has a full meal. Worst airports for delays and cancellations this summer. Apple unveils new iPhone 14. This is unfreaking real. The U.S. dollar is strong, but something is off. Actor's new look bums out the internet. Broadway star speaks out on death of her family members in plane crash. Here it is. A first Las Vegas public official arrested in connection with the killing of an investigative journalist, and then all the way down here, a Memphis shooting rampage, part of which was live stream, leaves 4 people dead and 3 wounded and a suspect in custody. That is just disgusting. That this could be taking place. There are 4 people who are not alive today because of this person. If this were a troubled white 20-year-old kid, it would be the top thing on CNN's website right now. I think shame on Fox News too for not having it be more prominent as well. So I'll call them out. I'm going to look at again real quick here and see where it is on Fox News. But I just basically looked at the 3rd page of Google results, the equivalent of that on CNN's website to find the story. You would not know that this took place. It should be a huge story. It's not.
The story in that story, because there are murders that happen every day. I mean, we come in and there's AP reports here in St. Louis all the time. This one is it's a mass murder. B, it's the callousness with which this guy was doing it.
Yes.
Is a comment on the psychology of the nation right now or something. I mean, there's a story here that's not being told that seems like a really big deal.
I mean, it's not high on Fox News' website either. I'm trying to make sure that I'm not missing something where someone goes, "Oh, Annie, it's right there," because I'm looking and talking at the same time. The hot topics at the top of the Fox News website are Queen Elizabeth II, Eliza Fletcher, which is another Memphis story, Mar-a-Lago raid, and Hurricane Earl. It's a shame that this is not something. I mean, if that instance in Memphis is a casual story in September 2022, Lord have mercy. This is just something that's unbelievable.
What's the problem is that any one of these things can be grabbed and made into a national story. That's the power of the media right there. Is that if they decided this was important enough, everybody would know about it. But they've decided that it's not. And probably for some of the reasons you guys have talked about here, but it's just sad in so many ways. I mean, that's one angle. We're talking about the actual story itself, but this is one of those things that you go, why did that not get attention when it very well could have? Why did they grab certain things and not others? And this happened yesterday. The Queen thing is a big thing, but that happened today. This happened yesterday. This could have been a huge story, and it's just not.
I'm looking at MSNBC right now just for the I guess there's no way to say S's and G's.
The lulz.
Without saying it. Queen Elizabeth, obviously the main story. There is at the very top line of the story, it says, or at the top of the website, it says Queen Elizabeth II dies, and it shows a live feed, and there's on the left column Queen Elizabeth story, but at the top right of the right column on MSNBC, why Donald Trump won't be happy about Steve Bannon's New York indictment. Trump has his own column on MSNBC. That's not all he has. We're witnessing the poisoning of Black America. Nuclear angle to Mar-a-Lago scandal comes into sharper focus. By GOP's own standards, Trump's Mar-a-Lago scandal has reached code red. Lindsey Graham takes unsettling path on Trump's classified doc scandal. Trump may have hoarded nuclear secrets. We're in the end game now. So Rubio's latest defense of Trump classified doc scandal is unintentionally funny. Amazon is acquiring a line of vacuums. Here's why the government is worried. That's tempting. What's genuinely weird about Judge Cannon's special master ruling? And then it just goes on, and there's more. Trump, J.K. Rowling pens her transphobic piece de resistance. I don't know how to say that.
Pièce de résistance.
Fair. I like how you guys are my French interpreters. Press secretary.
Press secretary. I wanted to say it backwards. I had it ready. Colin Jean-Pierre, press secretary extraordinaire.
I just hear Lumiere. That's all I hear. Real quick, so that I do what I said I was going to do. The royal family line of succession after Queen Elizabeth. Prince of Wales, Charles, Prince of Wales, is now King Charles III. That is official. That is done. After King Charles comes Prince William, and his children are the next in line of succession. And then after his children is Prince Harry. So that's interesting, I suppose. There's different ways, because I was wondering, like, does if William is the king, does Kate become the queen? And we looked this up a little bit. And so King Charles has a wife. I don't know what her name is.
Is it Camilla?
Is it Camilla?
I'm pretty sure it is.
I mean, there is a Camilla.
There's a Camilla in there.
Great radio. She is the queen consort. So while a queen can be a queen consort, which is the woman who is married to the king, a queen, man, I'm going to say these wrong. Regnant, regnant, reigning in her own right. So she would be the queen, which is what I would call them. I am Queen Annie. That means I'm legit. Or how would you say Dowager? Dowager?
Yes.
Brutal. That is the mother of the reigning monarch. So if Prince William became King William, he's married to Kate. And Prince William dies. Kate doesn't become like queen. What ends up happening is it goes to Prince William. The next heir is Prince George, which is Prince William's oldest son. Kate would still be Queen Kate, but she would be Queen Dowager or something.
Okay.
This is brutal. This is probably how we become famous. This is Midwesterner bumpkins trying to talk monarchy. Like, trust me, if you want me to say what I really think about the monarchy, I'm going to be famous that way.
I keep thinking, okay, queen, like Killer Queen, like the full queen.
Like the bee?
Like dynamite with a laser beam. Like full on.
Is this Fleetwood Mac lyrics?
No, it's Queen lyrics.
Fair. I also don't understand that. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get the results to the YouTube live chat poll. Have you voted yet? There's still time. Go vote now. Leave a comment as to your thoughts. Do you truly believe civil war is possible in the United States in your lifetime? Yes or no? Your votes on the break. Hannah with the results. When we come back. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show.
If you want to know me,
follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Nathan Kaneen. The political operatives of the teachers union fought tooth and nail so that they could secure a massive allotment of federal money, which is essentially was a ransom payment. The hostages were our kids.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Michael's Flooring Outlet. You can visit them online at igotfloored.com. I love the atmosphere that is provided for your flooring shopping experience when you go to Michael's. The way they present all the flooring, where you can walk on it, you can experience what it feels like, especially if you're looking to buy carpet, maybe that Mohawk Smart Strand, easy for you to say, Annie. If you're looking to buy padding and you're thinking about, do I invest a little bit more for padding, or do I save some money here? You can experience what that padding feels like at Michael's Flooring Outlet and make an educated financial decision on your flooring purchase. If you are looking for tile, luxury vinyl plank, a hardwood, something that resembles hardwood, but maybe is easier to have the little puppy paws or the kids running all around on it, you can talk to Michael's Flooring about your needs, about your budget, and the best staff in the business is going to help you make an educated purchase that you are going to be proud of. You can check out their locations, the hours. It's all available online on their website. Go to igotfloored.com.
The Wall Street Journal reported that home equity is at record levels. And while home values continue to soar, rising interest rates make it harder than ever to unlock equity. But what if you could cash out your home's equity right now while it's still sky high and not have to move? You can with Truehold.com. Truehold will buy your home for full cash value. Best of all, you get to bank all the cash now and continue living in your home. And Truehold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance too. Let's review. Truehold pays your home's full value in cash fast. Use your cash to do everything you've dreamed of, like travel or pay off debt. Call 855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com for the smarter, faster way to cash out your home's full value without having to move. 1-855-300-9993. 1-855-300-9993 or go to Truehold.com.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
The only person who can change your life is you, but you need to know how. Listen to my show, The Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
I'm Brian Westbrook with Coalition Life. Over the past decade, Coalition Life has served thousands of women in crisis pregnancies, helping to save the lives of the children that they carry. Help us build a better community while also reducing or completely eliminating your Missouri taxes with a 70% tax credit. A $1,000 donation today to help these women could cost you as little as $141 out of pocket. Learn more at coalitionlife.com, coalitionlife.com. Thank you.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studios. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 53 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Back in the car and back on the road. We're with you. Dependable traffic with Sue Thomas. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company. The best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
Walking through a party in the county jail. The prison band was there, they began to wail. The band was jumping and the joint began to swing. You should have heard this knocked out jailbird sing that rock.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Was dancing to the jailhouse rock. Spider Murphy played his in a saxophone. Little Joe was blowing on the slide trombone.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We appreciate you being here with us today. Before we get to the YouTube live chat poll, are you guys, how much baseball, Hannah, do you watch?
Are you really asking me?
Mm-hmm. Do you watch the Cardinals at all?
No.
Do you want the Cardinals to win?
Yes, I do. For St. Louis and for everybody in this room. Yes, I want them to win. I like the Cardinals. Baseball is just not something I watch on TV.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I get it. That's a lot of people in St. Louis like that. How much do you watch, Brian?
Lately, I've been watching on the Game Day app pretty much exclusively because that's all I've got since I don't have cable. So I watch on the pitch by pitch, especially when Albert's up.
You watch a ton of baseball, Brad.
Absolutely. Just a bunch.
So
Sorry, I'm in something over here. I made a mistake and I'm trying to undo it.
So have you guys heard about the Mets and this thing that they're doing for their closer, Edwin Diaz?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It's my favorite thing in the world.
Is it every time he comes out?
It's when he comes out of the...
So it's his walkout song?
Yes.
Okay.
Stevie Trumpet. And I love it. I love it. I love sports hype things. And you kind of have to be somebody who... Is there a way to get hyped about things in life the way you would get hyped to play sports if you've never done sports? Like if you're in drama or you're in...
I think so. I think there is.
What do you get hyped about,
That
Brad?
isn't sports?
Yeah.
But I do sports, so that's what I get hyped about.
I know, but like what?
I would say getting ready in the morning, but not always.
Oh my
Sometimes
God!
Like to this song?
Yeah, absolutely.
Brad,
I wanna see that.
This is
Well,
not Brad's
I wanna see
walkout song. This is his wake up song.
This is my wake up song. This is
his
how I start the day.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying?
Like, what could possibly get you up to this adrenaline level to do something else?
If you have
It's
a
a good
hype
song.
song, it is great. And I mean, like when you have Edwin Diaz walking, it's just to me, it's like a sports thing.
Yeah.
I guess if you're like driving with the windows down, it's really nice outside. You
Maybe
could have
like-
a song
Yeah.
up really
To
loud.
get hyped to go on vacation or something
Right.
like that. Maybe that could be kind of similar.
Maybe.
But you don't need to
Nothing
like
like a walkout song. no.
perform.
Going to the gym.
It's kind
Yeah,
of
maybe.
It's kind of sports related though.
Yeah, it's still the only time I get this amped up, and I don't need the song, but I mean, we'd be fine if it was
But
there.
it wouldn't hurt.
Yeah. You know who's criticizing this song? Seinfeld.
Yeah, go ahead and tell the
Oh,
story.
sorry. So
That is a scoop.
Yeah, no
yeah,
kidding.
sorry.
Go on. Tell it.
When it's when I go to write, I get super like jazzed up. It's almost like I got to jog
Putting
a
on the
block
Ritz?
to get going, and then I'll sit down at my computer and sit there completely silently doing nothing active but writing. But I got to get my mind there to really get into it.
Go ahead and tell us about Jerry Seinfeld since you brought it up.
So
it's so conveniently related, a news story that's conveniently related to this song. Go ahead, tell us
So,
more about it.
As I understand it,
Uh-huh.
the person from People in Cars Getting Coffee, Jerry Seinfeld.
Also from the show Seinfeld.
If that's where you
Really?
know him from, that's fine. He does not like this song. And is it related to the fact that the Mets have been losing? Is that the scoop?
I thought you knew it.
I don't. I just saw the head.
You're just throwing stuff out
yeah,
there. Go
I'm
ahead.
throwing pitches like
Go
Edwin
ahead.
Diaz.
No, he throws strikes. You're missing the
I
mark a
think
little
I
bit here
threw
right
some
now.
curves. That's all I know. That's it.
Womp womp.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know if any of the other cast members from Seinfeld were involved in the story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they were, but I have a feeling that you do know.
I do. It's kind of why I had them all pull this song today. Jerry Seinfeld did. I mean, it's the story. Jerry Seinfeld blamed that for the Mets slide, as he said that the song is the problem. So anyway, I love that song and I think it's great. Let's get out of this and get to the YouTube live chat poll. Hannah, take it away.
The question today is, do you truly believe civil war is possible in the United States in your lifetime? Yes or no? 64% of the people said yes, they do think it.
Wow, 64%?
64% of the people voted that. Yep. That is crazy.
That's really
We had
high.
to lean over to look.
No,
I
wanted
know,
to
it's
see,
crazy.
I wanted to
For
see
real?
how many votes we had. I mean, we have 168 votes of 164% of 168 people who voted today.
Yep.
say
64% say yes. 36% say no, they don't believe civil war is possible during their lifetime in the United States. I start a few comments. DeMarcus from YouTube says anything is possible, especially with propaganda from the left. Edward said no civil war, even in deep red or blue states, have at least 4 out of 10 people voting for the other side. STL from YouTube says we actually already are in a civil war. Shooting has broken out through Antifa, Black Lives Matter, etc. But in the 21st century, we fight differently. Social media, banning on Twitter, information manipulation, etc. I agree with that comment. I think it's different now than what you actually think of when you think of civil war.
I do wonder. I mean, to me, a civil war, it takes decades and decades to recover from something like that. But we've had this conversation with guests on the show before too. The direction we're headed right now is massive division, but I don't know when we hit critical mass on division, because to think that we could be more divided than we are right now, it's hard to imagine that scenario. I mean, each side is not nobody who's running for office right now, especially on a national level, is spending their time and more specifically their money talking about policies that make life better for the people they wish to represent. They're only talking about, criticizing their opponent, digging up dirt. And I mean, like, perfect example, Fetterman and Oz in Pennsylvania for a Senate seat. What have you heard them talking about lately regarding making life better for people in the state of Pennsylvania? They're slap fighting about each other. They're not working to make sure that the people of Pennsylvania know who wants to advocate most for them. They are in the center spotlight, not the people of Pennsylvania. I'll tell you who did do that, though. Northam in Virginia made a campaign that was about it. He got Trump's endorsement, but he did not use Donald Trump as a foundation. He said, what's going on with the people of Virginia and how can I help? And he won. He talked about issues on a regular basis and he won. And I'll tell you what, that was a win that felt good across the country. It's the spotlight. There is no better, bigger celebrity than being a high-level, attention-seeking politician right now in America. I mean, even the celebrities want to be, in the presence of and in the graces of these most popular, powerful politicos. It's very upside down, because the whole purpose, the whole spotlight in American politics is supposed to be on you. It's supposed to be on the people who are being represented. And in order for them to actually put you in the spotlight, they'd have to be talking about the issues that actually represent you. Instead, while people here in St. Louis are saying about prices of everything being sky high and about the problem with trying to get people to fill jobs and so on and so forth, the cost of education, the cost of healthcare. Instead, what we end up hearing from so many people is that are in elected government is about the real problems facing us and what we need to do in order to fix them, not what they're doing in government to solve problems for us. Mostly because government usually isn't the answer to solve the problems for us. Make sure you find us on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. You download that app. You can follow 97.1 FM Talk, and you can subscribe to the Annie Frey Show podcast if you missed anything today. The Mark Reardon Show will be streaming right there after we get done here as well. Make sure you subscribe to us on the YouTube channel, the Annie Frey YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Back tomorrow. Mark Reardon next.